Chapter 1794. Soon, Xiaoheng also entered and sat to the left of Fu Mingxi. He looked at Yi Wanwan and Fu Mingxi with a sneer. Today, he'd watch as these two died. Hello dash, Xie Zhizhi languidly walked onto the stage in a red suit. Damn, I'm not seeing things, right? Xie Zhizhi. I was wondering why I didn't see Xie Zhizhi on the guest list. He actually took up being a host at Stars Entertainment's anniversary. Xie Zhizhi hasn't appeared in a long time, right? My idol is so awesome. Xie Zhizhi was a top-tier artist in China's entertainment industry and was a legend who reached the peak the day he debuted and never experienced any low points in his career. I'm very honored to serve as the host of Stars Entertainment's anniversary celebration this year. Everyone shouldn't be too unfamiliar with me, right? A mesmerizing smile turned up on Xie Zhizhi's face. Many male artists started clapping while a myriad of female artists started cheering in excitement. Alright. I won't waste any time. Let's welcome Emperor Sky Entertainment's representative to speak. Xie Zhizhi continued. Gu Yueze and Yi Yi both walked onto the stage, the focus of millions of people, and they announced that Emperor Sky Entertainment had determined a battle strategy with Stars Entertainment. Yao Jiawen stared at Yi Wanwan with bone-chilling frostiness. Emperor Sky Entertainment had determined a battle strategy with Stars Entertainment, so from now on, there was no possibility for Yi Bai to make a comeback. The entire entertainment industry would belong to them. Congratulations, elderly Sir Yi, haha, Mr. Yi is rather blessed. You have such a wonderful granddaughter and grandson-in-law. Some of the entertainment industry's seniors started congratulating Yi Hongwei. Yi Hongwei nodded in response, his face glowing with satisfaction. After Yi Yi and Gu Yueze left the stage, Xiaoheng quickly walked up. I'm on stage today because there's a matter that will keep plaguing me unless I tell everyone, Xiaoheng said. The venue abruptly became quiet. Everyone knew that the matter Xiaoheng was talking about was probably the events of yesterday's birthday party. Last night, Fu Mingxi vilely insulted me and even assaulted me at my birthday party. There was also Yi Bai who I didn't invite but crashed my party without permission and incited Fu Mingxi to attack me. I'd like to ask everyone, what kind of proper behavior is this? Everyone's gazes instantly landed on Yi Wanwan and Fu Mingxi. Yao Jiawen suddenly stood up and righteously exclaimed, all of us here know best actor Fu's character, so it's obviously Yi Bai's fault. Yi Bai previous embezzled all of the Age of Immortals funds and fled the country. I have no idea how someone like her managed to land a spot in the guest area today. Many artists surveyed Yi Wanwan with odd expressions. Xie Zhizhi turned to Yi Wanwan with some surprise in his expression but didn't say anything. As they spoke, an elderly man walked onto the stage. This elderly man was Xiaoheng's grandfather, a branch director of Stars Entertainment in China. I'm very regretful that this kind of situation occurred at our Stars Entertainment. Fu Mingxi has clearly violated some of Stars Entertainment's rules and seriously damaged Stars Entertainment's reputation. Hence, I hereby announce that Stars Entertainment will terminate its artist contract with Fu Mingxi, the elderly man coldly announced. Chapter 1795. Let's welcome the boss of Stars to come onto the stage. At this point in the live broadcast, the insults and accusations directed at Yi Wanwan on China's various major forums had reached their peak. Some people even declared they were going to kill Yi Wanwan. The majority of Fu Mingxi's fans also aimed their attacks at Yi Wanwan in order to erase the blame on Fu Mingxi. They all hoped everyone to give Fu Mingxi a chance because Fu Mingxi was merely bewitched by Yi Wanwan. Mingxi's love, this bloody bitch has ruined Mingxi. Protect my Xiaoheng, she deserves everything. A gold digger like her seriously wants to transform into a phoenix. Who does she think she is? How dare she incite Fu Mingxi to attack my Xiaoheng? Little hopping bear, a woman like her deserves to be turned into mincemeat. And Mingxi. How could he be bewitched by this woman and bring her to attend Stars Entertainment's anniversary celebration? What right does she have to sit there? Who said she's qualified to attend Stars Entertainment's anniversary? From the guest area, Director Zhou and Fu Mingxi looked at Xiaoheng and his grandfather like they were idiots. A branch director wanted to fire the grandson of Stars Corporation's boss. Was he freaking tired of living? Fu Mingxi's manager also shook his head in exasperation. This matter had truly gotten out of hand. Emperor Sky Entertainment's higher-ups were all looking at Yi Wanwan with smirks. Gu Yueze chuckled mockingly. It's rather a feat for a woman to humiliate herself to the entire world. Yi Hongwei harshly glared at Yi Wanwan and tightly clutched his crutch with both hands. If it weren't for this special occasion, Yi Hongwei probably would have raised his crutches and started hitting Yi Wanwan already. Xie Zhizhi stood on the stage and laughed awkwardly. Next, please welcome Stars Entertainment's director Zhou and director Li onto the stage. Following Xie Zhizhi's words, director Zhou and an elderly man with a head of white hair stood up and ascended the stage. The white-haired elderly man, Director Li, was the third branch director of Stars Entertainment and had a good relationship with Director Zhou, so Director Zhou told him everything already. Director Li first glanced at Yi Wanwan with a big smile before turning to everyone else. Truthfully, I have nothing much to say. I just think the anniversary celebration this year is the most interesting and fun anniversary I've ever seen. Many reporters were confused by what Director Li meant. Director Zhou smiled faintly. I also don't have much to say. However, I should reveal a piece of news to everyone. The big boss of our Stars Corporation is also in attendance today. All hell broke loose at the venue and major web forums. Stars Corporation's big boss. It wasn't just Stars Entertainment. It was the entire Stars Corporation. Stars Corporation was involved in too many industries, and Stars Entertainment was merely a subsidiary of Stars Corporation. Ever since Stars Corporation was established, no one had ever seen an appearance from Stars Corporation's big boss. But this enigmatic big boss was actually attending today's event? Everyone curiously examined their surroundings. Really? Yi also reflexively looked around her with astonishment. Gu Yueze became invigorated instantly. He would like to take a good look at Stars Corporation's big boss. Even Yi Hongwei straightened up and looked around him. Not just anybody could see Stars Corporation's big boss. Xiao Heng and his grandfather were startled. Chapter 1796 Yi Wanwan was Stars' big boss. Big boss is here? Xiao Heng looked at his grandfather. The elderly man frowned. I previously heard that big boss came to China, though we weren't the ones who received them. I originally thought they were just passing by, but they're actually attending this year's anniversary and Zhou Tao and Li Fu didn't tell me. Director Zhou smiled and made introductions. Next, we'll have our Stars Corporation's big boss come up and greet everyone. Thunderous applause and cheers clamored through the venue. The netizens on various platforms also held their breaths and the flood of comments also slowed as everyone wanted to see the resplendence of Stars Corporation's big boss. However, on the monitor, all they saw was Yi Wanwan, dressed in a black female suit, standing up expressionlessly and walking toward the stage. At the venue, Yi and Gu Yueze glanced at her aloofly. What the heck was this woman doing? Did she want to attract the attention of Stars' big boss using this kind of method? How pitiful. Gu Yueze snorted. It appeared she's really gone mad, Yi also commented dryly. Some higher-ups and artists from Emperor Sky Entertainment stared at Yi Wanwan, bewildered. Fu Mingxi's manager looked at Yi Wanwan with astonishment. What's she doing? Did your partner go mad? Fu Mingxi glanced at his manager, disinclined to answer. In the back, Gong Su rubbed his eyes and turned to Luo Chen next to him. Damn. What is brother Yi doing? Luo Chen furrowed his brows and shook his head lightly. How would I know? An ominous feeling also surged through Han Xianyu. The Yi Bai he knew absolutely wouldn't do something like this in this kind of setting, and there was no way he'd believe Yi Bai was really doing this to attract the attention of Stars Corporation's big boss like others were saying. In China's various online platforms, the past drifted with the wind. Did that bloody bitch go mad? They're inviting Stars' big boss to go up on stage. Why is she standing up? The apple of daddy's eyes, heh. Don't tell me she thinks Fu Mingxi's thigh isn't thick enough, so she wants to attract the eyes of Star's big boss like this, barbecue, her? She wants to attract the attention of Star's big boss. Does she really know what kind of figure Star's big boss is? What kind of woman hasn't he seen? How could he take a fancy to this bloody bitch? I love Xiaoheng, get down, get down. Back at the guest area of the venue, Yi Hongwei was flushed red and trembling with fury. He turned to Yi Yi and Gu Yueze. Why aren't you going up there and dragging that humiliating scoundrel back here? Does that little bastard want to completely disgrace our Yi family? What if she's blamed by Stars Corporation's big boss? How could our Yi family and Emperor Sky Entertainment shoulder this responsibility? However, Yi Wanwan had already arrived on stage. Long time no see, Xie Zhizhi, Yi Wanwan softly greeted Xie Zhizhi on the stage. Miss Yi, it's truly been a long time. I feel like it_has been a lifetime ago since we chatted over dinner, Xie Zhizhi replied with a smile. Yi Wanwan sank into thought. It did seem like a lifetime ago. That woman even knows Xie Zhizhi. Wait, no. I should say, Xie Zhizhi actually knows her. That's impossible, right? How could someone like Xie Zhizhi know Yi Bai? And they look like friends? Some of the industry's celebrities were all stunned. Can everyone please be quiet? Yi Wanwan impatiently demanded with a furrow of her brows. Many artists looked displeased. Who did Yi Bai think she was by telling them to be quiet? Ha, don't be angry, boss. It's because this is everyone's first time meeting you, boss, so they can't help but be excited. It's everyone's honor that you could attend Stars Entertainment's anniversary celebration this year. On the stage, director Zhou suddenly turned to Yi Wanwan and spoke with an ingratiating smile. Chapter 1797. Director Zhou stood next to Yi Wanwan with a gentle smile on his face as his eyes ran over the venue. I believe everyone isn't too unfamiliar with this lady standing next to me. Her name is Yi Bai and she once single-handedly founded the Age of Immortals. However, Chairman Yi also has a different identity. I believe that everyone is unaware of the fact that Chairman Yi is also the top boss of our Stars Corporation aside from being the founder of the Age of Immortals. Let me emphasize that I'm not talking about Stars Entertainment solely. Chairman Yi is the top boss of the entire Stars Corporation. Haha, thanks to Director Zhou's numerous invitations, Chairman Yi reluctantly agreed to attend Stars' anniversary celebration this year. I'll represent every employee and artist under Stars Entertainment to thank Chairman Yi for gracing us with her presence. The elderly Director Li also hastily butted in. Everyone's eyes shot to Yi Wanwan, and some people's eyes were wide open and their mouths agape like they had seen a ghost. Silence. Following Director Zhou and Director Li's words, dead silence enveloped the venue, and even the drop of a needle could be heard. Director Zhou and Director Li were both top branch directors of Stars Entertainment in China, so there was no way they were lying. A matter like Stars Corporation's big boss showing up couldn't be spoken recklessly, and Director Zhou and Director Li absolutely wouldn't joke about this type of matter in this kind of setting. Otherwise, they might not be able to keep their jobs anymore. Xiaoheng was stupefied and reflexively turned to his similarly stunned grandfather. How's this possible? Xiaoheng's grandfather looked at the tranquil Yi Wanwan, his breathing growing heavy and sweat soaking his forehead. That woman, how's it possible? As one of the branch directors of Stars Entertainment, Xiaoheng's grandfather naturally knew that the big boss of Stars Corporation Director Zhou and Director Li mentioned was complete rubbish. It wasn't the big boss who came. It was Big Boss, alright? In other words, the big boss of Stars Corporation merely worked under this woman. Grandpa. She's Stars Corporation's big boss. How's that possible? Those two old geezers must be lying. They must be scheming something. Xiaoheng made accusations immediately. The elderly man instantly turned to Xiaoheng and ruthlessly backhanded his face. Grandpa, Xiaoheng clutched his face, baffled by his grandfather's slap. Shut up. His grandfather angrily glared at him. You've destroyed me, bastard. On the other hand, Yi Yi's expression was a bit dazed as she watched Yi Wanwan coolly standing on the stage. Next to Yi Yi, Gu Yueze was intently staring at the dazzling Yi Yi in the limelight, his expression becoming increasingly shocked. Yi Wanwan is the top boss of Stars Corporation? How is that possible? How could this be? What did Director Zhou and Director Li just say? Yi Wanwan is the boss of Stars Corporation. Yi Hongwei frowned deeply, thinking he had heard wrong. He knew Yi Wanwan's abilities, so what kind of cosmetic joke was it that Yi Wanwan could be the boss of Stars Corporation? That's absolutely impossible. Yao Jiawen's heart intensely pounded in her chest. Yi Bai absolutely couldn't be linked to the big boss of Stars Corporation. Chapter 1798. The platforms live broadcasting this event completely exploded. Don't wait for a Baron Zhizhi, ha ha ha, I'm gonna die from laughter. What a good show. Where are those keyboard warriors who said Yi Bai is relying on Fu Mingxi to make a comeback? The Buddha jumps over the wall on my tongue, haha, after all this commotion, Yi Bai turned out to be Stars Corporation's big boss. Xiaoheng. Fu Mingxi. To put it bluntly, they're all working for Yi Bai, right? Didn't those keyboard warriors want to lie in wait for Yi Bai? And those who claimed they were going to kill Yi Bai? I support you. Hurry and go. Don't humiliate yourself. I have a cute wife. I also saw someone saying they were going to ban Yi Bai, and claim Yi Bai was a criminal for embezzling the Age of Immortals funds. How absurd. Stars Entertainment is just a minor company under Stars Corporation, and Yi Bai is the owner of Stars Corporation, yet people think she embezzled the Age of Immortals funds. I admire her. Following the announcement of Yi Wanwan's identity, some of Yi Bai's earlier fans were instantly resurrected and launched into their roasting and face-slapping modes. As for those netizens who participated in the attack on Yi Bai, they were instantly drowned and roasted skinless, and not a single person dared to step forward and resist. Stars Corporation's big boss needed to latch onto Fu Mingxi's thigh. She needed to rely on Fu Mingxi to ruin Xiaoheng. Yi Bai probably only needed to say the word and both Fu Mingxi and Xiaoheng would become unemployed. At that moment, the artists familiar with Yi Bai, Luo Chen, Gong Su, Han Xianyu, etc., all looked like they had seen a ghost as they looked at Yi Wanwan. Damn. Damn. Brother Yi is the big boss of Stars Corporation? I'm not dreaming, right? Gong Su looked at Luo Chen and Jiang Yanran. I don't know either, Jiang Yanran shook her head. She'd never heard Yi Wanwan mention this. Even Stars Entertainment's Director Zhou and Director Li are saying this. Do you think it could be fake? Luo Chen might find it unbelievable, but two directors from Stars Entertainment announced it, so it had to be real. Then are we the same as princes? Gong Su asked dazedly. Han Xianyu, Luo Chen, Jiang Yanran, then I should be a princess. Yi Hongwei suddenly stood up and looked at the two directors. Director Zhou. Director Li, you just said she was the owner of Stars Corporation, but that's impossible, right? Stars Corporation has been in operation for many years, but how old is she? Director Zhou glanced at Yi Hongwei and smiled aloofly. Elderly Sir Yi, what are you saying? Could Director Li and I dare to joke about something like this? Yi Hongwei knitted his brows as he stared at Yi Wanwan. If Yi Wanwan was the owner of Stars Corporation, why hadn't she ever mentioned it at home? Moreover, something like this was too absurd. Wanwan, since you're the owner of Stars Corporation, Emperor Sky Entertainment will merge with Stars Entertainment and become sister companies from now on, Yi Hongwei immediately ordered Yi Wanwan. However, Yi Wanwan didn't respond to him at all, nor did she even glance at him. Since you've come up on stage, please speak a few words, Chairman Yi, Director Zhou said to Yi Wanwan genially. Alright, since Director Zhou insists, I will say a few words. Yi Wanwan looked up and swept her eyes over the venue before calmly saying, yesterday, Fu Mingxi did indeed attack Xiao Heng at Xiao Heng's birthday party, and it was my wish. Relying on his popularity and background, Xiao Heng acts undisciplined and out of control, considering everyone else beneath him. He's humiliated his fellow artists several times and completely lost respect for the entertainment industry. Hence, I hereby announce that Stars Entertainment will one-sidedly terminate our work contract with our artist, Xiao Heng. Chapter 1799. Xiao Heng shot up and pointed at Yuan Wan. What right do you have to terminate my contract? Are you the owner of Stars Corporation simply because you say you are? Before Xiao Heng could finish speaking, Director Zhou impatiently waved his hand and made the security forcefully escort Xiao Heng out of the venue. As for Xiao Heng's supporter, who's also his grandfather, he has disregarded the company's image and twisted the truth. From this moment onward, Stars Corporation will terminate our contract with him, and Director Zhou and Director Li will temporarily take charge of the branch he manages, as well as all the artists under him, Yuan Wan continued. Excitement surfaced in Director Zhou and Director Li's eyes. They were going to share all the resources of another branch. This was too satisfying. Many reporters stepped forward to defend Xiao Heng's grandfather against this injustice. Chairman Yi, Xiao Heng's grandfather, Elder Wang, has accomplished many things for Stars Entertainment, but you're kicking him out of Stars Entertainment for a mere minor mistake. Isn't this too unreasonable? That's right. Don't you think your decision is too inappropriate, Chairman Yi? Yuan Wan expressionlessly glanced at the inquiring reporters and indifferently responded, I'm the owner of Stars, so whatever I say is the principle. Do you have any other questions? The reporters looked at each other, rendered speechless. Next, I'll be addressing an issue related to Emperor Sky Entertainment. Yuan Wan glanced at Yi and Gu Yueze. I hereby announce that Stars Entertainment will terminate every partnership it has with Emperor Sky Entertainment. We will recover all of the artists that we transferred to Emperor Sky Entertainment and withdraw all funds. What? Yi and Gu Yueze's expression snapped. If Yuan Wan really did this, it would be an absolutely fatal blow to Emperor Sky Entertainment. Although Stars Entertainment would have to pay a penalty for one-sidedly terminating their contract, this compensation was nothing in the face of Emperor Sky Entertainment's subsequent damage. What did you say? Yi Hongwei stood up and angrily glared at Yuan Wan. How dare you spout nonsense in this kind of setting? Yuan Wan glanced at Yi Hongwei and dryly asked, What identity are you using to speak to me in this manner in this type of setting, Elder Yi? When Yi Mufan and Yi Xiaoting were wrongly accused, where was he? Why had he never believed in his son and grandson? When she was forced to leave China, where was he? Did he show any concern for her? When their whole family was in dire straits, where was her supposed grandfather? Moreover, since Yi Hongwei chose Yi Yi's family, it was the same as giving up on her family. Yi Hongwei had never admitted she was his granddaughter in the face of the reporters' inquiries. It was true that she had never been a member of the Yi family and didn't share any blood relationships with them. The only ones she needed to pay back were her parents and brother. As for the rest of the Yi family, they broke off all connections to her a long time ago. What did you say? I'm telling you, immediately take back what you just said and re-merge Emperor Sky and Stars. Did you hear me? Yi Hongwei angrily shouted. Chairman Yi, are you threatening me? Yuan Wan aloofly glanced at Yi Hongwei. Sahada Flam? Oh. Yuan Wan smiled faintly. Then I'm very curious as to what you're relying on. Chapter 1800. Yuan Wan coolly looked at Yi Hongwei without a ripple of emotion in her eyes. Sister, how can you speak to grandfather like this? Yi suddenly asked Yuan Wan with a frown. The majority of the celebrities and reporters present knew Yuan Wan's identity and knew that she was Yi Hongwei's granddaughter and was naturally a member of the Yi family. That's right, Yuan Wan. Since you're the owner of Stars Corporation and also a member of the Yi family, logically speaking, Stars Corporation is considered an asset of the Yi family. So aren't you just intentionally angering grandfather like this? Gu Yueze hastily butted in as well. Gong Su, Jiang Yanran, and the others all looked furious. They had seen shameless people before, but not to this extent. How could they have the face to say something like this? Yi Wanwan smiled. A member of the Yi family? Who said I'm a member of the Yi family? Insolence. Even if you're not a member of the Yi family, you can't withdraw the funds. You're breaching our contract. Yi Hongwei trembled from anger. Elder Yi, please be mindful of your words or else I'll have to order security to ask you to leave, Director Li interjected with a displeased expression from the stage. Director Zhou and Director Li had to have been incredibly astute to get promoted to branch directors of Stars Entertainment, so they naturally detected Yi Wanwan's attitude toward the Yi family. This was the time for them to prove themselves in front of Big Boss. How could they relinquish this opportunity to prove themselves? Our Stars Corporation can pay the penalty fee, Yi Wanwan replied indifferently. Chairman Yi, I'll contact the lawyer today and transfer it to them after calculating the penalty fee, Director Zhou quickly promised. Yi Hongwei pointed at Yi Wanwan and fell back, splayed on his chair. Emperor Sky Entertainment, his life's blood. Of course, I'm not a heartless person. Our Stars Entertainment can also acquire Emperor Sky if you're willing, Yi Wanwan added. You want to acquire Emperor Sky Entertainment? Keep dreaming. Yi Hongwei yelled, fuming. Yi Wanwan shrugged. Whatever you want. Yi Wanwan stopped paying attention to Yi Hongwei and his group and turned to Yao Jiawen sitting close to them. I single-handedly created the Age of Immortals but had to leave China due to private matters some time ago. However, Yao Jiawen took advantage of my absence to embezzle all of the Age of Immortals funds and claimed to the outside world that it was me who embezzled the funds, Yi Wanwan said with a faint smile. Yao Jiawen's expression changed. She hastily stood up and explained to the reporters, I didn't. Yi Bai is venomously slandering me. How could I have embezzled the Age of Immortals funds? It was Yi Bai, it was me. Yi Wanwan peered at Yao Jiawen, her lips turning up with a meaningful smile. What you're saying is that I, the owner of Stars Corporation, decided to embezzle the Age of Immortals minute funds at the risk of committing a crime. Is that what you mean? A commotion snaked through the venue. Stars Entertainment's assets by itself was already a terrifying amount, and Stars Entertainment was merely a subsidiary of Stars Corporation, so the net worth of the entire Stars Corporation. Yi Bai, the boss of Stars, embezzled the funds of the Age of Immortals. What could those funds do for the boss of Stars? Eat breakfast? It was me who created the Age of Immortals, and when Yao Jiawen was unable to even find a job back then, I cherished talent, so I brought her into the Age of Immortals. Unfortunately, I merely picked up an ingrate. Yi Wanwan kept the smile on her face as she continued. Chapter 1801. Everyone turned to each other after hearing that. After Yi Wanwan left China, Yao Jiawen announced that Yi Wanwan embezzled all of the Age of Immortals funds and established herself as the Age of Immortals savior who tenaciously stood by the Age of Immortals in its most difficult times before finally leading the Age of Immortals out of its problems. She painted her image to be immensely heroic. However, Yao Jiawen's intentionally drawn image was easily shattered by a few words from Yi Wanwan tonight. If Yi Wanwan said this kind of thing with Yi Bai's identity, no one might believe her. But if Yi Wanwan denounced Yao Jiawen as the big boss of Stars Corporation, the effect would be utterly different. No. That's not it. Yao Jiawen loudly tried to explain. Yi Wanwan aloofly glanced at Yao Jiawen with a bone-chilling smile hanging from her lips. Yao Jiawen, back then, I used my status as the director of the talent recruitment department to draw you into the Age of Immortals when you were hitting walls and failures every which way, and I wholeheartedly trained you. However, after I left, you embezzled all of the Age of Immortals funds but claimed that it was me who embezzled funds to the outside world. Moreover, you forced the Age of Immortals artists to shoot crude portraits, produce rotten films, and act as a garnish for Xiaoheng. An uproar reverberated through the venue. Before Yi Wanwan said this today, who would have expected Yao Jiawen to be this kind of despicable and shameless person? When Yao Jiawen was penniless, it was Yi Wanwan who helped her, so it wouldn't be an exaggeration to say Yi Wanwan was Yao Jiawen's biggest benefactor in her life. However, Yao Jiawen took advantage of Yi Wanwan's absence to frame her and steal the Age of Immortals. All the reporters rushed toward Yao Jiawen, surrounding her impenetrably. CEO Yao, are Yi Bai's words true? Did Yi Bai help you in your most desperate times, but you repaid kindness with malice and stole Yi Bai's Age of Immortals after embezzling its funds? Yao Jiawen frantically shook her head. It's a lie. What evidence does she have to say this? She was the culprit, but she's framing me instead now. CEO Yao, you're saying Yi Bai is framing you? A reporter looked at her derisively. CEO Yao, Yi Bai is the owner of Stars Corporation. At the risk of sounding mean, is the Age of Immortals funds greater than what Stars Entertainment can earn in an hour? Why would Yi Bai have to risk violating the law to do this? Would you go and steal $1, CEO Yao? Yao Jiawen feebly opened her mouth but couldn't utter anything in response. Every single one of her explanations would appear frail and empty. No matter what she said, no one would believe her. All of this was attributed to the stunning truth of Yi Bai's identity as the big boss of Stars Corporation. This identity alone was enough. All hell broke loose once again on China's various live broadcast platforms in response to Yi Wanwan's words, and a myriad of insults and admonishment were directed towards Yao Jiawen. Yi imperceptibly sent a reporter a look. Yi knew that Yi Wanwan would attend Star's celebration tonight, so she intentionally hired a reporter to use this opportunity to shatter Yi Wanwan's reputation completely and turn her into a street rat that everyone despised. Chairman Yi, can I ask you a few questions? A reporter quickly asked Yi Wanwan. You may. Yi Wanwan nodded. Chapter 1802, Chairman Yi, as everyone knows, you're a member of the Yi family, and your father and brother were charged for murdering Yi's father with irrefutable evidence. Now, you seem to be unilaterally breaking off Stars Entertainment's investment and cooperation with Emperor Sky Entertainment, which is the life's work of the Yi family, like an act of vengeance. Moreover, back then, your father was the CEO of Emperor Sky Entertainment but was kicked out of the Yi family because he embezzled company funds to pay off his gambling debt and was involved in criminal activities. Is everything you're doing currently an act of revenge, Chairman Yi? If you are seeking revenge, I don't think the Yi family has done anything wrong. Instead, the wrongdoers are you, your parents, and your brother, Yi Mufan. Everyone's eyes landed on Yi Wanwan again. An icy smugness surfaced in Yi's eyes, but she sighed in reply, Sister, I know you hate our family. But by using this kind of method, the entire Yi family, not just us, will come to ruin. Yi Wanwan, Yi is still your sister after all and took great care of you once. She's forgiven you for all of your wrongs. Although you're now Star's big boss, how could you use such dirty and shameless methods? The Yi family didn't do anything wrong. Gu Yueza echoed in agreement. This bastard, Yi Hongwei's face was flushed red, and he had one hand clasping his crutch as he glared at Yi Wanwan. I was thoroughly disappointed by your father and brother, and I even once considered giving you all a chance. However, they not only incompetently ruined the company but they also dared to commit murder. And you? Not only did you not reflect and repent on it, but you also used this kind of method to harm the Yi family. Are you still a person? Ha, Chairman Yi, don't you think this is truly unjust? The reporter from earlier continued to hound Yi Wanwan. Following this round of inquiries, China's various major live broadcast platforms welcomed another round of insults from the keyboard warriors. Director Li glared at the reporter furiously. Whose reporter are you? Security, kick him out. Yi Wanwan waved her hand and looked at the reporter with a chuckle. You raised a good question. First of all, I don't hold any relationship with the Yi family, and the matter of course beliefs that you hold merely hijack morality to condemn me. Unfortunately, I've never succumbed to this formula. Yi Wanwan glanced at the reporter, Yi, and Yi Hongwei before continuing. Second of all, I'm the owner of Stars, so I need to be responsible for my company. I don't think Emperor Sky Entertainment has the strength and qualifications deserving of investment and partnership from stars. We previously invested in several international artists from stars, but Emperor Sky didn't raise their popularity in China at all, nor did they provide stars with the anticipated profits. Hence, what issue is there in stars choosing to withdraw our funds and terminate our partnership? The reporter furrowed his brows. Yi Wanwan focused on the reporter. Or do you think an international company like Stars manages to grow bigger and stronger from personal feelings alone and doesn't need to consider the situation and the gains and losses? Everything I'm saying has obvious reasoning, but do you know why I'm talking in such simple terms? What do you mean to say, Chairman Yi? The reporter questioned. Because I'm afraid that you might not understand, considering your circumstances, if I said anything more profound, Yi Wanwan answered. Chapter 1803. Laughter broke out in the crowd. This was a blatant face-slapping. This reporter's numerous questions were nowhere as shocking and impactful as Yi Wanwan's words. With a few words, Yi Wanwan informed everyone how ignorant this reporter was. Also, Yi Wanwan turned to Yi Hongwei. Regard Elder Ye's words. You said that Yi Xiaoting negatively impacted the company due to his embezzlement of the company's funds, and you kicked him out of the Yi family afterward. Then Elder Ye's belief should be to abandon anyone useless, including your own son. And today, I think that the Yi family's Emperor Sky Entertainment is completely useless to our Stars Corporation and is even a burden. Hence, as the boss of Stars Corporation, I should logically abandon Emperor Sky Entertainment. However, Elder Yi, why are you reacting so intensely and attacking me so personally? Could it be that you relied on personal attacks on other people to strengthen Emperor Sky Entertainment back then? Great. Nicely said. Gong Su stood up immediately and loudly applauded Yi Wanwan. Following Gong Su's clapping, thunderous applause from various artists also rang out. Yi Hongwei fiercely glared at Yi Wanwan and trembled from his rage. Also, that reporter friend just now said my father and brother were suspected of murdering Yi Xiaoan from the Yi family, so I would like to use this opportunity to show everyone something, Yi Wanwan said, a faint smile. Show us something. What is it? Everyone looked at her curiously. Today is my father and brother's trial date, and the court hearing also coincidentally happens to be a live broadcast, so let's all see the result for ourselves. Seven Star and Big Dipper walked up and cooperated with some employees from Stars to turn on the giant screen at the venue. Yi Mufan and Yi Xiaoting were shown on the screen. Yi Wanwan had spent a large sum to hire China's most famous lawyer, Zhang He, to defend Yi Mufan and Yi Xiaoting. Nowadays, court hearings were increasingly public, and Yi Mufan and Yi Xiaoting's lawsuit held too great an impact, so the court chose to live broadcast the hearing. In the broadcast, a middle-aged man, Zhang He, submitted a piece of evidence in defense of Yi Mufan and Yi Xiaoting's innocence to the court. It was an audio tape. As the recording played, Liang Meixian and Huang Mingquan's voices were heard. Huang Mingquan, say, our act of hiring someone to kill Yi Xiaoan and framing Yi Xiaoting and Yi Mufan won't be exposed, right? Don't worry. It won't. Our plan was absolutely seamless, and no one will realize it. Yi Mufan and Yi Xiaoting, those two idiots, deserve it. Their whole family is idiotic. This whole family is rather comical if you think about it. Back then, Yi Xiaoan owed a large sum of debt, so he embezzled a giant sum from the company's funds. Later, he befriended people from the mafia behind the back of the old geezer, Yi Hongwei, and framed Yi Xiaoting for the whole thing. Yi Xiaoan teamed up with Yi Yi and Gu Yueze to abduct Yi Wanwan and injected her with illegal drugs and recorded her. In the end, Yi Xiaoting actually willingly took the fall for his daughter. Wasn't he dumb? Many people were astonished by the recording they heard. Yi Yi especially looked incredulous. After Liang Meixian and Huang Mingquan returned home, they revealed how they were forced to record this conversation during their abduction. That same day, Yi Yi sought out members of the Hongxing gang and spent a large sum to ask the Hongxing gang to take care of this matter. Chapter 1804 Hongxing Gang sent news a few days ago that Huang Mingquan and Liang Meishuan's abductors were taken care of already and the recording was destroyed. Did Hongxing Gang lie to her? Yi Wanwan aloofly watched Yi Yi's reaction. Yi Yi definitely didn't expect that it was Yi Wanwan who made Hongxing Gang give them false information, since Hongxing Gang had been following everything she said to the T with Liao Jieqi in her possession. Yi Hongwei watched the big screen in disbelief after the recording ended. Yi Shaoan wasn't killed by Yi Shaoting and Yi Mufan. His second son died at the hands of Liang Meixian and Steward Huang. Then they framed Yi Shaoting and Yi Mufan for the homicide. Elder Yi, the Yi you indulge so much isn't your granddaughter. She's the product of an illicit affair between Liang Meixian and the Yi family's steward, Huang Mingquan. Elder Yi is so generous to hand over your life's work to an outsider, Yi Wanwan said to Yi Hongwei in amusement. What did you say? Yi Hongwei was stunned and incredulously turned to look at Yi Yi next to him. Don't slander me and start rumors here, Yi Wanwan. Yi Yi loudly rebuked. Slander you and start rumors? Yi Wanwan smiled. Your mother's illicit affair with Steward Huang isn't fake, right? I've hired private investigators and possess evidence of the affair between your mother and Huang Mingquan. Yi Yi frowned deeply. She truly underestimated this woman. On the big screen, Huang Mingquan and Liang Meixian were originally sitting in the audience as the victim's family, but following the revelation of the recording, their expressions greatly changed. Didn't Yi say Hongxing Gang had already taken care of their abductors and destroyed the recording? It's not like that. Someone abducted us and forced us to say that. Liang Meixian stood up and shouted loudly. Oh. You're saying you said this during your abduction? Isn't that absurd? Don't you know what these words represent? Zhang He, China's top lawyer, asked with a snort. I know. But if we didn't cooperate with them, we would have died. Liang Meixian explained immediately. What a joke. Zhang He exclaimed. If it was really as you said, why don't you have a police record? Why would an abducted individual say this but not report it to the police? However, they didn't exhibit any changes from before the trial began until now. Don't tell me you forgot you were abducted? Sweat drenched Liang Meishuan's forehead. When they got home and found Yi Yi, they did have plans to report the abducting to the police. However, Hongxing Gang guaranteed that the recording was destroyed already, so they were afraid it would cause unnecessary trouble and reveal her relationship with Huang Mingquan, and maybe even their business with Hongxing Gang. Who provided this recording? The judge asked from his seat. I did, a middle-aged man replied as he stood up from the benches. Bullshit, Liang Meixian shouted, enraged. The middle-aged man snorted before turning to the judge. I'm a private investigator with a permit for operation and underwent professional training. Miss Yi Wanwan hired me, and through tenacious investigation, I finally discovered Huang Mingquan owed a large sum to loan sharks at the casino. The supposed abduction that Huang Mingquan mentioned was his loan sharks merely finding him a few days ago and forcing him to pay his debts. Additionally, Liang Meixian and Huang Mingquan had an abnormally intimate relationship. I discovered the particular hotel and hotel room that they frequently stayed in and installed taping devices in the room ahead of time. I originally just wanted to try my luck but didn't expect to really get a surprising reward. Chapter 1805 All the guests at Stars Entertainment's anniversary celebration were astonished. They didn't expect the sensational case would have such a great turnaround. The second son of the Yi family, Yi Shaoan, didn't die in the hands of Yi Shaoting and Yi Mufan. Not only was he murdered by killers hired by the Yi family's steward, Huang Mingquan, and Liang Meixian, but those two even framed Yi Shaoting and Yi Mufan for it. Wasn't this too terrifying? The madam of the Yi family actually had an illicit affair with their steward. Sir Judge, I also have some videos and pictures here to submit as evidence. Zhang He walked forward and submitted the video and photos that Third Elder and Big Dipper shot previously. The evidence contained multiple room renting records at this hotel from Liang Meixian and steward Huang Mingquan, and videos and photos of them in the room. All of these can't serve as direct evidence, the judge said after a long while. Zhang He smiled. We naturally knew this, but we also have additional evidence that can directly prove Yi Mufan and Yi Xiaoting weren't the true culprits behind Yi Xiaoen's murder. Zhang He immediately listed several pieces of evidence that proved Yi Mufan and Yi Xiaoting's innocence and their lack of motive for killing Yi Xiaoen. He started playing Yi Mufan and Yi Xiaoting's video that night. This video originated from the Yi residence's surveillance camera. Everyone knows that this video is how we directly determined Yi Mufan and Yi Xiaoting to be the murderers initially, but there's a very illogical area. Zhang He swept his gaze across the room and slowly said, first of all, in the video, Yi Mufan and Yi Xiaoting did indeed appear in the Yi residence and entered Yi Xiaoen's room. However, sometime later, they appeared again in the video with a murder weapon in hand. That is how it appears, but everyone, please pay attention. The Yi Mufan and Yi Xiaoting you see holding a murder weapon have their backs facing the camera, and aside from wearing the same clothes, there isn't any direct evidence that proves the people holding the murder weapon are them. What a joke. Even their clothes are identical, so what if they didn't show their faces? Liang Meixian came back to life after learning that the recording couldn't be used as evidence and snorted at the lawyer. Zhang He turned to Liang Meixian. Even your recording can't be used as evidence, so could this be used as evidence simply because the second group is wearing identical outfits? Ms. Liang, your logic is truly admirable. Liang Meixian looked at Zhang He, somewhat at a loss for words. The murder weapon contained their fingerprints. Fingerprints? Zhang He smiled aloofly. It's truly too simple to obtain something like fingerprints. However, while we're on the topic of fingerprints, there is something more interesting. Normal people might not know about this, but I have to emphasize something. After the weapon was thrown into the Yi residence's pond, it was soaked for at least 10 hours, so even if you could obtain Yi Mufan and Yi Xiaoting's fingerprints, they would be faint. However, the fingerprints that the forensic scientists extracted were very intact and whole. Is this logical? Everyone in the courtroom turned to look at each other blankly, oddly quiet. There's also one more thing that I find more absurd. Chapter 1806 Zhang He continued, based on what I know, Yi Xiaoting was responsible for installing all of the Yi residence's surveillance, so he thoroughly knew every point of surveillance inside and out. If Yi Xiaoting wanted to kill someone, planned it for a long time and was operating with his son, Yi Mufan, how could he be foolish enough to expose himself on the surveillance footage multiple times? That isn't logical nor reasonable. From the defendant's seat, Yi Mufan looked at Zhang He in surprise. Damn. No wonder he was China's most famous lawyer that Wan hired with a huge sum of money. He was simply. Hence, based on the intact nature of the fingerprints. It's apparent that this was premeditated and plotted to frame them for murder. This is all I have to say, Zhang He concluded with a smile. Huang Mingquan knitted his brows tightly and looked at their dumbstruck lawyer. He wanted to stomp his feet from anxiousness. Talk already. The prosecutor was exasperated. What else could he say? Fingerprints couldn't be intact after the weapon was soaked in water for 10+ hours, but the fingerprints on the murder weapon were very intact, meaning they were planted there later. This point alone was enough. Also, all of Zhang He's explanations were flawless, and there wasn't a point they could refute. Moreover, they had videos and recordings as evidence. About half an hour later, when news rang out of Yi Mufan and Yi Xiaoting being released and absolved of their guilt, Yi Wanwan finally revealed a trace of happiness from Star's anniversary celebration stage. Although they couldn't use the recording as direct evidence, they could use it as a reference. Since Yi Mufan and Yi Xiaoting were acquitted of their charges, the investigation on this case would be continued and eventually lead to Huang Mingquan and Liang Meixian. Yi Wanwan would like to see how long they could hold on. Soon, Yi Wanwan had someone turn the screen off, ending the live broadcast of the court hearing. So, does anyone want to say anything else? For example, Elder Yi, Yi, and CEO Gu. Yi Wanwan turned to the trio with an inscrutable smile on her face. Yi Hongwei was stunned, his lips twitching, and unable to utter a word. Yi Yi's hands were twisted into themselves, and the color was drained from her face. Gu Yueze had his brows deeply knitted. Yi Yi was actually a bastard. The illegitimate daughter from a steward? A commotion ran through the venue of Star's anniversary celebration following the judge's decision. No one expected the truth of the matter to turn out like this. What a great show! The eldest miss of Emperor Sky Entertainment, Yi Yi, was actually the bastard, and the madam of the Yi group had an illicit affair with their steward. They worked together to frame Yi Xiaoting and his son, Yi Mufan, and they might even be the culprits behind Yi Xiaoan's murder. This truth was simply horrifyingly bone-chilling. A vacuum instantly appeared around Yi Yi, and everyone subconsciously distanced themselves from her. Based on Yi Yi's expression, she had to have known her background. How malicious did this woman have to be to dominate the position as the eldest daughter of the Yi family for so long without any qualms? How could this mother and daughter pair be so evil and vicious? Everyone also naturally remembered how Gu Yueze broke his engagement with Yi Wanwan back then. There was no double he threw away Yi Wanwan, a watermelon, to pick up a pile of dog shit. Gu Yueze naturally detected everyone's peculiar gazes and fervent whisperings. His fiancé was actually the bastard of a steward. He had never experienced this type of humiliation in his life. Chapter 1807 Yueze, 1. Let me explain. Yi Yi paid no attention to other people's eyes and tried to latch onto her final log, Gu Yueze. Gu Yueze avoided her hand like she was something disgusting. He wore an extremely disappointed expression as he frostily said, I always thought you were an innocent and kind girl. For you, I didn't hesitate to break my engagement with Wanwan and shoulder the curses afterward, but I didn't expect you to be so malicious. Yi Yi watched forlornly as Gu Yueze furiously left. She was instantly submerged by a swarm of reporters. The event that could be called the biggest farce of the entertainment industry this year finally dropped its curtains. After Stars Entertainment's anniversary celebration ended, Yi Wanwan didn't linger, and the venue slowly emptied of guests. Yi Wanwan walked out of the restroom with her phone in hand and looked up, catching sight of someone standing in the hallway outside. Gu Yueze. He was evidently waiting there for her. Yi Wanwan reflexively raised her brows at seeing Gu Yueze after a long absence on her part. This man was undoubtedly her most disliked person. Not only because he was scum but because he truly represented the darkest part of her history during her period of amnesia. Yi Wanwan couldn't help but grind her teeth at the thought of the culprit behind all of this. Wanwan, Gu Yueze examined this woman who seemed to have remolded herself thoroughly. I don't know how you did it, but I'm very surprised you would go to this extent for me. Even he couldn't help but exclaim, beautiful, at Yi Wanwan's flawless counterattack. Although Yi Wanwan became more and more beautiful, he never regretted his decision. For people like him, winning over beautiful women was way too easy. Now though, he finally seriously considered this woman for the first time. Yi Wanwan glanced at him speechlessly. What did he mean by, go to this extent for me? What did this idiot narcissistically imagine again? She didn't understand a word. Gu Yueze continued, I actually remember everything you said back then, Wanwan. Oh. But I've forgotten. What did I say? Yi Wanwan asked with amusement. Gu Yueze smiled as though he saw through her intentionally calm pretense and confidently said, you once said to me that you would work hard to become someone worthy of me, Wanwan. Back then, I didn't think you said that seriously, so I didn't expect you to really work so hard for me. Yi Wanwan, after breaking off my engagement with him, I partied my way to the heavens already, alright? Is he still living in the previous century? Yi Wanwan was incredulous. Just who gave him this confidence and audacity? Heh. Mr. Gu, you're truly cute. Yi Wanwan promptly left after saying that, unwilling to waste precious time with this idiot. Gu Yueze wasn't angry as he watched Yi Wanwan leaving. Playing hard to get was kind of fun too. No matter how outstanding a woman was, she couldn't escape from his grasp as long as they had emotional ties. Yu Wanwan originally wanted to seek out Xie Zhizhi to ask about news related to Si Yihan, but Xie Zhizhi left already by the time she came out, so she had to meet with him a different time. After bidding farewell to Han Xianyu and the others, she headed straight to the courthouse to take Yi Mufan and Yi Shaoting home. When the family of four finally reunited, they tightly hugged each other, excited beyond words. Chapter 1808, Wanwan. You've worked hard. Emotional tears filled Yi Shaoting's eyes. Dad, we're family. Why are you saying this? Yi Wanwan hugged her father. They might not be her biological parents, but Yi Shaoting had given her the most valuable paternal love. Yi Mufan was bursting with excitement and kept bouncing up and down next to Yi Wanwan. Damn! Wanwan, you're too freaking awesome. We're from the same parents, isn't this too unfair? Do you have a genetic mutation, Wanwan? Yi Wanwan rolled her eyes at him. Stop your nonsense. Hurry and go home to take a bath. Liang Wanjun nodded vehemently. That's right. Wash away the bad luck. After Stars Entertainment's anniversary celebration ended, Yi Wanwan's phone exploded with calls, and an endless amount of invitations paraded onto her phone. However, she declined all of them and kept her parents company at home in the following few days. Eventually, she and Yi Mufan invited Han Xianyu, Luo Chen, Gong Su, Jiang Yanran, and Fei Yang, as well as Big Dipper, 7 Star, and Fu Mingxi, who forcibly invited himself, for a meal. Fei Yang reserved a table at a tower restaurant with great privacy, and everyone sat down at the table, relaxed. Yi Wanwan pulled Jiang Yanran to sit on her right side, leaving an empty seat on her left which was swiftly snatched by Gong Su. Due to some obstructions from Big Dipper, Fu Mingxi only managed to land a corner spot a little far from Yi Wanwan. At the table, Yi Wanwan introduced Fu Mingxi, Big Dipper, and 7 Star to everyone, and a harmonious atmosphere enveloped the table. Han Xianyu said, "Congratulations CEO Yi, for righting your injustice." Luo Chen also butt in, "Congratulations, CEO Yi." Everyone else cheerfully piped in with their congratulations. Yi Mufan sighed. Thank you for your hard work throughout this period. Open your mouth wide today and eat your fill. My sister will pay the bill. Yi Mufan said, "My sister will pay the bill," like it went without saying. Yi Wanwan looked somewhat exasperated, but the comers of her lips unwittingly turned up. In the independent state, she walked every step with her heart hanging off a cliff. Now that she had returned to China and reunited with her friends, she hadn't been able to feel so relaxed for a long time. On the table, Gong Su's phone kept going off, ding ding ding, as though special notifications for some topic he set up were popping up. Gong Su offhandedly clicked it open and promptly slapped the table, exclaiming, "Damn! What the heck is Gu Yueza up to? Isn't this notice too freaking shameless? He actually said you've always been deeply in love with him, brother Yi. He's saying you love him more than life itself and desperately yearned for him even after you broke off your engagement with him. Blah. Couldn't he make up a more believable story?" Fei Yang had received many messages from his friends in the industry asking him about Yi Wanwan's relationship with Gu Yueza, but he didn't mention it to avoid affecting everyone's meal. Since Gong Su rashly brought it up, he interjected, "It hasn't been many days since the court hearing concluded, but this press release was already written and published. The Gu Group's public relations works rather fast." Earlier, Jiang Yanran was worried that Yi Wanwan would become sad at the mention of Gu Yueza, but now, she lost all worries. Upon hearing this, she scornfully said, "Back when Uncle Yi fell on desperate times, Gu Yueza impatiently broke off his engagement with Wanwan and cut their ties. Now, as soon as he learned about Wanwan's identity, he audaciously wants to claim some relation to her. What a clever plan." Yi Mufan commented as well, "And I thought I was scum enough already, but there's always someone even scummier out there." Chapter 1809. You've also suffered a beating. Han Xianyu sipped from his lemon water before saying, Gu Yueza probably really thinks he's still Yi Wanwan's true love and that she never got over him. He thinks that as long as he shows a sign, Yi Wanwan will catch it immediately. Yi Wanwan smiled at Han Xianyu. Very accurate. Gu Yueza probably actually thought that way since the previous Yi Wanwan was truly too infatuated with him and even did numerous idiotic things. To Gu Yueza, Yi Wanwan's desperate love for him was a deep-rooted belief. Even after discovering that she got together with Si Yihan, Gu Yueza merely thought she was trying to take revenge against him and still deeply loved him in her heart. Big Dipper was sitting next to Gong Su and leaned close to his phone to take a closer look at Gu Yueza's photo in the gossip article. Damn. No way, right? Did you gorge on too much meat, Brother Yi? How could you stand to consume this type? Mind your words. Yi Wanwan snapped. What do you mean I gorged on too much meat? What meat did I eat? Fu Mingxi lived his whole life in China, so he naturally knew about Gu Yueza. He was instantly riled up when he heard that. Sis. Brother Yi. You actually had an engagement with Gu Yueza? What about me? We clearly had an engagement prior to this. Yi Wanwan almost lunged onto the table to cover his mouth. Thankfully, 7 Star, who was sitting closer to him, did it for her. Woo. Fu Mingxi was forcefully silenced. At that moment, the servers brought alcohol to the table. To avoid the miscreants, Big Dipper and Fu Mingxi, from running their mouths off again, Yi Wanwan fiercely glared at them before picking up the wine glass on the table and standing up. Ahem, all right. It's rare for us to gather here so happily, so let's not talk about unhappy things like this. Yi Wanwan looked over everyone sitting at the table gently. I'm truly happy to know everyone here and honored to have you all as friends. Cheers, here's a glass from me. We're not leaving until we're drunk tonight. Yi Wanwan gallantly raised the glass and tilted her head back to down the cup. When Yi Wanwan was about to drink from the cup, nearly everyone jumped up. Gong Su, Brother Yi, no. Luo Chen, Brother Yi, you can't. Han Xianyu, Yi Bai, hold on. Jiang Yanran, Wanwan. Fei Yang, old bro Yi, calm down. Yi Mufan, put it down, Wanwan. 7 Star, Sis Feng. Big Dipper, boss, no. Put it down. Except for the clueless Fu Mingxi, nearly everyone at the table stood up and shouted, their hands reaching out to stop Yi Wanwan's glass. The scene was rather spectacular. When everyone reacted identically, the members of the Age of Immortals reflexively exchanged looks with their 2 new friends. Big Dipper leaned toward Gong Su and quietly asked, Bro, say, have you also witnessed Brother Yi drunk? Gong Su nodded like he had met a bosom friend. You've also suffered a beating. The new car I bought got a huge hole. Big Dipper, Gong Su. After this exchange, the duo tightly clasped their hands together and looked like people who had finally found a companion after ending up at the other end of the world. As for Yi Wanwan, she was dumbstruck. She exasperatedly looked at the group still recovering from their panic. Really? When I'm drunk, I'm just slightly livelier. Everyone looked like a confused question mark meme. She calls that slightly livelier? The ignorant Fu Mingxi asked with a frown. That's right. The president is just drinking some alcohol. Why are you all over there? Before Fu Mingxi could finish speaking, his mouth was covered by the expressionless 7 Star again. Woo. Chapter 18:10 Everyone expressed an intense desire to live upon seeing Yi Wanwan about to consume alcohol. Brother Yi, come on, put it down. This is too dangerous. Gong Su nimbly snatched Yi Wanwan's wine glass away. Luo Chen quickly moved the alcohol bottle next to Yi Wanwan farther away. Han Xianyu also brought over some strawberry juice prepared ahead of time, and Jiang Yanran quickly stood up to pour a glass for Yi Wanwan. Wanwan, drink this strawberry juice. It's freshly squeezed, so it's delicious. Yi Mufan nodded frantically. That's right, that's right. Sister, you're a girl, so why are you drinking? I won't allow it as your brother. You should drink juice like Yenran. Behave. Right, right, right. They're right. Big Dipper piped in. Yuanwan couldn't describe her feelings as she stared at the pink strawberry juice in her hand. In the end, under the strict watch of everyone at the table, Yuanwan had no choice but to use strawberry juice in place of alcohol to toast everyone. Only then did Big Dipper relax and joyously urge everyone to stand up. Come, 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 cheers. We won't leave until we're drunk. Yuanwan, drunk your ass. Through the whole meal, Yuanwan's stomach was forcefully filled with all sorts of fruit juice. She didn't crave alcohol, but not being able to drink some alcohol in this kind of setting was truly too dull. As she propped her head on her chin in utter boredom and sipped from a glass of another strangely colored juice blended from some unknown fruits that Jiang Yenran poured for her, her phone suddenly chimed with a notification. Yuanwan didn't even look before clicking her phone open. It was a voice message. The moment Yuanwan clicked it open, a man's voice rang out from her phone. Wanwan, are you free tomorrow night? A man. A man's voice. The boisterous dinner table turned silent instantly, and everyone's ears perked up. They looked like they were drinking and eating, but their attention was wholeheartedly concentrated on Yuanwan's phone. 1/3, let's have dinner together. Both Fu Mingxi's ears and hair were standing up, and caution was evident on his face. If it weren't for 7-Star watching him, he wouldn't have been able to resist slapping the table and jumping up again. Gong Su used his proximity to Yuanwan and snuck a peek. Brother Yi, who is it, who is it? Damn. It's Ji Gu Yueza. This scum still dares to hit on you. Fu Mingxi immediately butted in, why's this scum still pestering you? I'm telling you, Brother Yi, an impure and unchaste scum like him should be drowned in a pig cage and rolled over a board of nails. Block him already, why are you keeping scum like him around? Fu Mingxi was fairly resentful of the fact that Yuanwan once had an engagement with Gu Yueza. Yuanwan didn't block Gu Yueza before because she simply tossed him to the back of her mind. She wasn't blocking him now though because... why should I block him? Don't you think it'd be rather fun to take him out for a walk whenever you're bored? Yuanwan asked with a chuckle. Without surprise, a new message notification rang from her phone as she said that. It was another voice message from Gu Yueza. Wanwan, you're a smart person. You should know that there's no point in playing hard to get for too long. I won't always have the time. PFT, his words seriously didn't disappoint her. Gong Su truly couldn't hold back anymore and picked up Yuanwan's phone and pressed on the voice message button before roaring, shit, Gu Yueza, are you a freaking idiot? Brother Yi has had a boyfriend since a long time ago. Chapter 1811 So handsome he shatters the earth's shell. Gong Su grunted and continued to say to the phone, they're incredibly loving, and the most important point is that Brother Ye's boyfriend is so handsome he shatters the earth's crust. A single hair from him could blow you to smithereens. Who wants you more than life itself? Who's deeply in love with you? Who's playing hard to get? You're the freaking embodiment of a drama king, alright? You're seriously too good at creating scenes for yourself. How could ugly swine like you dare to covet my Brother Yi? Everyone at the table, except for Big Dipper, 7-Star, and Fu Mingxi, had seen the so handsome he shatters the earth's crust boyfriend that Gong Su mentioned. 7-Star imperceptibly furrowed his brows and automatically glanced at Yuanwan. Meanwhile, Big Dipper quietly blurted out, Sis Feng has a boyfriend in China? Fu Mingxi asked, boyfriend? What boyfriend? After Gong Su finished his tirade in one breath, Gu Yueza's expression darkened as he listened to Gong Su's voice on the other end. Gu Yueza had people privately investigate the matter and hadn't discovered that Yuanwan was dating anyone during this period of time. Hence, to him, this was merely a charade from Yuanwan. As for artists like Gong Su, Luo Chen, and even Fu Mingxi, he had never taken them seriously. Soon, Gu Yueza responded with a voice message. Ha, Wan Wan, I thought you were a clever girl and would know how to choose, but it appears I've overestimated you. I think you should know that there's no one in Imperial City who's worthy of you rejecting me. Gu Yueza's strange words rang again, but this time, Big Dipper, 7 Star, and Fu Mingxi's attention wasn't focused on him anymore. You're awesome, Brother Yi. You have a boyfriend in China too? Big Dipper zealously asked. Yi Wan Wan, how in the world does Big Dipper manage to do this? Why do his words cause misunderstandings every time so easily? What does he mean I have a boyfriend in China too? Do I have many boyfriends? Unfortunately, while 7 Star was able to successfully block out Fu Mingxi, he couldn't do anything about Big Dipper. Please erase the part in China too. Thank you. Hey. Who's Brother Ye's boyfriend in China? Is he really that handsome? Big Dipper was already akin to a wild horse broken free of its reins and eagerly pulled on Gong Su to inquire. Gong Su nodded. Although I don't want to admit it, he really is very handsome, Fu Mingxi protested. Gong Su, aren't you exaggerating too much? In the end, the meal wrapped up amidst everyone's insults for Gu Yueza and gossip about Yi Wanwan's Chinese boyfriend. After the meal concluded, they exited the hotel to return home individually and were about to enter their cars when a dark horde of reporters rushed up. Fei Yang's expression instantly changed. What's going on? Did our itinerary get leaked? Let's go. Any single person from their group could evoke a commotion, let alone so many gathered together. To their lament, there were too many reporters and they were tightly blocking the hotel entrance, so Yi Wanwan and her group were stuck and unable to leave for the time being. Thankfully, Big Dipper and 7 Star were martially inclined and stopped the crowd from pressing too close. Miss Yi Wanwan, regarding the rumors circulating around the internet about you and Mr. Gu, is there something you would like to say? When you tearfully agreed to break the engagement back then, did you consider it your lifelong regret? Did you publicly expose Yi Yi's background to make Mr. Gu turn around and rekindle his old flame with you? Question after question was launched at Yi Wanwan like a series of cannonballs, causing Yi Wanwan to unwittingly scratch her ears. She felt like she was about to go deaf. Chapter 1812 My taste isn't that awful. Yi Wanwan, who was walking forward while protected from the reporters, suddenly stopped and turned to one of the reporters. A second of silence enveloped the scene. When that reporter saw Yi Wanwan looking at her, she excitedly asked, CEO Yi, I heard good things are coming for you and Mr. Gu. Will Stars Corporation collaborate with the Gu Group due to this relationship? Yi Wanwan humorously swept her eyes across all the reporters. Gu Yueza and I. Apologies, but you seem to have misunderstood something. The reporters were bewildered. Misunderstood something? Yi Wanwan aloofly replied, my taste isn't that awful. All the reporters were stupefied. Damn. This Yi Wanwan is seriously arrogant. With the Gu family's power in Imperial City and Gu Yueza's looks and character, he was the golden husband candidate for numerous socialites and heiresses. Otherwise, Yi Yi wouldn't have done everything she could to steal him from Yi Wanwan. Back then, everyone in the industry witnessed how Yi Wanwan made a fool of herself to chase after Gu Yueza. Ahem, Miss Yi, your words. The reporter was at a loss for words. Back then, my taste, yes, it might have indeed been rather weird. Now though, I have a boyfriend, so I'd like to request all my media friends to refrain from believing the rumors. Yi Wanwan interrupted the reporter and dropped another atomic bomb. What? Yi Wanwan has a boyfriend already? The reporter and their fellow reporters had been digging for so long but hadn't been able to fish out any gossip like that. Could it be someone in the industry too? Miss Yi Wanwan, you already have a boyfriend? May I ask who he is? Is he from the entertainment industry? Could it be a member of the Age of Immortals? Someone guessed. Listening to the reporter's ardent inquiries, Han Xianyu, Gong Su, and the others were also surprised. Yi Wanwan had always been very low profile, so they didn't expect her to publicize her romantic relationship so directly this time. However, considering how revolting Gu Yueza's actions were, it wasn't strange that she would publicize her relationship. Yi Mufan was also fairly astonished since he thought his sister had broken up with that pretty boy already. After all, such a serious ordeal occurred in their family and his sister hadn't mentioned that man after returning to the country, so he didn't dare to mention it in fear of saddening her. He didn't expect her to suddenly bring it up out of her own initiative. Yi Wanwan frankly answered, he isn't from the entertainment industry. He's a businessman, and you all should know him too. A businessman and also someone they knew. Just who was it? Could it be YL CEO? I think he publicly declared he was a fan of Yi Bai earlier, and gossip about them circulated for some time. YL CEO is already more than 50 years old, no? He's been divorced twice too, it can't be an artist under her, right? Amidst the intense discussion and pressing inquiries, Yi Wanwan nonchalantly continued, his name is Si Yihan. All the reporters, Yi Mufan, Gong Su, Luo Chen, Fu Mingxi, aside from Big Dipper and 7 Star, who didn't recognize the name, Si Yihan, the rest of their group and all the reporters were flabbergasted. Yi Mufan nearly bit his tongue as he stared at his sister, stupefied. He quietly cursed, shit. Wanwan, who did you say? You clearly didn't drink at all tonight. Chapter 1813. After a brief moment of shock, an uproar snaked through the crowd. None of them ever expected Yi Wanwan to utter this name. They weren't just familiar with this name. It was akin to thunder to their ears. Gong Su dazedly stood there, thinking he heard wrong. S.C. Yihan. Isn't it 9th C? Fei Yang exclaimed, oh my god. No one expected the biggest gossip of the year to come out from Yi Bai instead of an artist. Luo Chen was also astonished. No matter how much you didn't pay attention to gossip and news, you still knew the name, Si Yihan, despite the fact that he never appeared in front of any media outlet or in public. Han Xianyu was first shocked before peering down in contemplation, finally understanding something. No wonder he kept feeling like that man's aura indicated an extraordinary identity. Perhaps it was because Yi Bai truly gave him too many surprises that while this matter might be shocking to everyone, Han Xianyu found it to be within reason. Moreover, Yi Bai was different from how she was before. As the owner of Stars Corporation, she carried a status and background that wasn't inferior to the C families in China at all. It was Gu Yueza who thought too highly of himself and ignorantly wanted to charm someone way out of his league without any self-knowledge. A sense of crisis appeared on Fu Mingxi's face for the first time. I knew it. I knew it. How could a man that the president took a fancy to be so simple? It's our president's nature to only do challenging things. But, what can I do? Wait, no, calm down. Calm down. Si Yihan is Chinese. The independent state absolutely prohibited its residents from marrying outsiders, so the president could only have fun with him in China and there was no way she would give him an official status. That was right. Realization dawned on Big Dipper. No wonder Sis Feng ordered us to secretly look into traces of the patriarch of the C family after we came to China. She has a thing with him. 7 Star frowned and sighed with exasperation. As they said, the mighty dragon was no match for the native serpent. The C family possessed immense power in China, and as the patriarch of the C family, Si Yihan absolutely wasn't one to be trifled with. He was truly afraid of the president stirring some sort of trouble, like willfully forcing Patriarch Si to be her boyfriend or something. If Yi Wanwan knew 7 Star's thoughts, she'd definitely spit in his face. She was the forced one, all right? Of course, she absolutely wouldn't mention this kind of dark history. Meanwhile, at a certain secluded manor in Imperial City, Lin Ke finally returned to his original appearance and was gleefully browsing through gossip with his laptop in hand. In front of the fireplace, a man was sitting on the sofa with his head propped on one hand while holding a book with his other hand, but his attention clearly wasn't on the book. As Lin Ke browsed, he kept vocalizing his thoughts. TSK, look at your woman, ninth brother, she hasn't simmered down for a second since she's returned to China and keeps causing trouble every day. Tisk tisk tsk, isn't Fu Mingxi the grandson of that second elder from the Fearless Alliance? He looks like he has ulterior motives toward that ugly freak. Nice. Ninth brother, how are you managing to ignore this? Tsk, Gu Yueza is rather shameless. The ugly freak already announced her identity as the big boss of Stars Corporation, so how could she have her eyes on a mere member of the Gu family? Does he think ugly freak is still the brain-dead teenager from back then? His intelligence is simply beyond words. How can you stand this, ninth brother? Tsk, Lin K kept prattling on when his eyes suddenly shot open upon seeing something. Shit! Ninth brother! Hurry and look at this. Chapter 1814 Ninth brother. Hurry and watch this video. That ugly freak actually, Si Yihan turned to look at Lin K instead of the notebook he brought toward him. A chill ran down Lin K's back at once, and he gulped. I was wrong. I misspoke. It's ninth sister. No matter what Yuan Wan looked like now, her eyesore appearance from back then was deeply engraved into his soul. It was only after Lin K changed his form of address that Si Yihan graciously looked at the laptop. Lin K immediately restarted the video from the beginning. The video captured an interview, and Si Yihan recognized the girl surrounded by people at a single glance. The reporters kept grilling Yuan Wan about her relationship with Gu Yueza and whether she wanted to get back together with him. My taste isn't that awful. Yuan Wan's voice arose from the clamor. When the reporter raised another question, the girl continued, back then, my taste, yes, it might have indeed been rather weird. Now though, I have a boyfriend, so I'd like to request all my media friends to refrain from believing the rumors. Lin K finished watching the video earlier, so he excitedly watched his ninth brother's expression turn awful and he intentionally taunted him, hee, ninth brother. Guess the identity of the boyfriend ninth sister's talking about. Si Yihan ignored him. He isn't from the entertainment industry. He's a businessman, you all should know him too, the girl in the video continued. A businessman, the reporters know him too. His name is Si Yihan. When Si Yihan heard his name, his unfathomable eyes contracted immediately. Lin K saw Si Yihan's astonished expression as expected and was instantly satisfied. He excitedly exclaimed, it's all over the internet now. Ninth sister has publicized it to the world. Before, Yuan Wan always adamantly cut a clear line between herself and Si Yihan, afraid that other people would learn about her relationship with Si Yihan. To their surprise, she actually admitted Si Yihan was her man in front of so many reporters this time. Si Yihan's slender fingers touched the laptop screen and the video replayed Yuan Wan's lines, I have a boyfriend, and his name is Si Yihan. Yuan Wan's interview spread through the internet like wildfire as soon as it was uploaded and rapidly entered the headlines of the major news outlets. One of the main leads of this rumor featured the behind-the-scenes boss of Stars Corporation who just revealed herself, while the other was the mysterious patriarch of the Si family who had never revealed his face. This rumor was 100 times more explosive than the exposure Gu Yueza spent a large sum to buy. Gu Yueza naturally saw this interview instantly. Not a long time had passed since he sent a message to Yuan Wan inviting her to dinner before being rejected. He didn't expect her to appear in an interview a few hours later and publicly say something like that. Si Yihan was her boyfriend? If the old Yuan Wan publicly said something like that, she would have probably been submerged in laughter and ridicule. Now though, as the behind-the-scenes boss of Stars Corporation, her words gained a few degrees of credibility. However, he knew the truth best, she and Si Yihan were friends with benefits at most. If they shared a respectable boyfriend-girlfriend relationship, why would Si Yihan have imprisoned her at Jean Garden like a slave, and why would she ask Shen Mingqi to help her plead for him to rescue her? Si Yihan merely treated her as a toy. Chapter 18:15. Later, Shen Mengqi told him that Yi Wanwan didn't follow him because she was discovered by Si Yihan midway and she wanted him to rescue her again. However, he was engaged with Yi Yi by then and Yi Wanwan had lost all value to him, so why would he take a risk again and offend Si Yihan just for her? Despite knowing this period of Yi Wanwan's dark history, Gu Yuezha was still willing to forget the past and accept her, so she should be content. However, the current Yi Wanwan was indeed a lot smarter than the old Yi Wanwan. If she intentionally used this move to provoke him, then she succeeded. She had indeed evoked his interest and desire to conquer. Regardless of which man it was, they wouldn't be able to tolerate their woman declaring another man as her boyfriend to the outside world. He understood very well why Yi Wanwan did this. He originally didn't want to waste too much effort on Yi Wanwan, since this woman would come to him at a single hook of his finger. However, it now appeared he needed to take her more seriously. The Stars Corporation that stood behind her was worth his effort too. Due to Yi Wanwan suddenly announcing this sort of explosive news, none of them returned to their respective homes, and they all followed Yi Wanwan to Little Rose Garden in the end. Their objective was to get first-hand gossip, of course. Wanwan, is your boyfriend really Si Yihan? Yi Mufan anxiously asked while rubbing his hands. Yi Wanwan answered, yes, so what? Yi Mufan solemnly said, Wanwan, I think this brother-in-law candidate is rather nice. You must tightly clutch onto this chance and not miss it. Your temper is getting more and more violent nowadays, and it's fine if it's me, your brother, but you can't treat your boyfriend like that. You'll scare him off. You must treat your boyfriend more gently. If you don't know how, brother can teach you. That's enough. Yi Wanwan was exasperated. Didn't you previously say he was a pretty boy who swindled both money and sex? Nonsense. If there's someone swindling both money and sex, it's you. Yi Wanwan really had nothing to say. This was clearly the line she said to Yi Mufan back then, but Yi Mufan now used it to thwart her. Brother Yi, aren't you too awesome? How did you get your hands on the CEO of the C Corporation so inconspicuously? Gong Su bounced up and down next to her with admiration on his face. Yi Wanwan felt her head pounding from the noise. What do you mean inconspicuously? Didn't I introduce him to you guys a long time ago? But you didn't say he was Si Yihan back then. Gong Su wanted to sweat when he recalled how he almost tried to provoke the other man when they first met. What does Si Yihan look like? How handsome is he? Do you have photos? Big Dipper anxiously yammered. That I don't. But either way, he's really handsome, so handsome he can bend you the other way. Gong Su answered. Big Dipper raised his eyebrows. So handsome he can bend me? There really aren't many people who can do that in this world. The only people he could think of who were handsome to that degree were Lord Azura and Emperor Ji. Actually, piece of shit was rather handsome, the kind that was seductively handsome, but that man wouldn't bend him with his handsomeness. Instead, he would bend him with his fists. Big Dipper seemed blasé about Gong Su's words. I think you're all just too sheltered. I'll show you genuine handsomeness next time. You can't treat me like this, President. Fu Mingxi couldn't hold it in anymore and shot up with a slap on the coffee table. Chapter 18:16. President. What president? Gong Su twisted his head to look at Fu Mingxi like a curious child. Nothing. He drank too much. Big Dipper, 7-star, escort Mr. Fu back. Yi Wanwan signaled 7-star and Big Dipper. If Gong Su and the others learned she was the leader of bandits, her persona would collapse. And so, before Fu Mingxi's grievances had time to erupt, he was securely carted off by Big Dipper and 7-star. Let go. Release me. I want to see the president. I'm the president's official fiancé. Fu Mingxi shouted as he wildly struggled. Big Dipper rolled his eyes at Fu Mingxi. Enough already. Fu Mingxi angrily cried, what do you mean enough? The president said it herself. She praised me as good-looking after seeing my photo and agreed to an engagement to me with my grandfather. Big Dipper was rendered even more speechless. All right, you've said it 800 times already. Please, have you never seen the president drunk? How can you believe anything she says when she's drunk? She'd hit on anyone remotely good-looking when she's drunk. If she took responsibility for all of them, she'd have married 100 men by now. 7-Star looked at Big Dipper with a frown. He didn't think Big Dipper should smear the president's image like this. Even if it seemed like the truth. Fu Mingxi flung off Big Dipper's hand, dark emotions flickering through his eyes. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Doesn't Xi Yihan just have a little bit of lousy power in China? How dare he steal the president from me? I'm gonna wreck the Xi family and see how he'll steal the president from me. Big Dipper nodded. I agree. Go. This way, you can turn around and get kicked by the president. Fu Mingxi became teary-eyed. Within days, Yi Wanwan's interview rapidly spread like a virus and became the prime material of post-meal conversations. As everyone gossiped about Yi Wanwan and Xi Yihan, they undoubtedly paid close attention to Gu Yueza's reaction. Previously, Yi Wanwan being head over heels in love with Gu Yueza was the talk of the town, but then she turned around and said she had a boyfriend already and that boyfriend was Xi Yihan. Didn't Gu Yueza's earlier words seem to be rather wishful thinking then? However, a few days later, Gu Yueza posted a Weibo post that riled up a storm again. Before, it was me who didn't know to cherish you, so I only have myself to blame for your anger. This time, allow me to pamper you instead. At Yi Bai, Gu Yueza's Weibo post obviously hinted that Yi Wanwan intentionally said she already had a boyfriend because she was angry at him. To this, Gu Yueza graciously expressed his forgiveness and understanding. Realization dawned on everyone after seeing this post. So it was like that. After all, based on the glorious history of Yi Wanwan chasing after Gu Yueza back then which was circulating through the internet, she did appear to love Gu Yueza to death. Even after Gu Yueza got engaged to Yi Wanwan's pursuit merely became more intense and she even antagonized Emperor Sky Entertainment and Yi at every turn she could for Gu Yueza. It all made sense now. Yi Wanwan merely said what she did in front of the media to intentionally provoke Gu Yueza. Moreover, the rumors always said Xi Yihan kept his distance from women, so how did he obtain a girlfriend all of a sudden? The matter had occurred several days ago now, but there was only word from Yi Wanwan without any reaction from the Xi family, so who knew whether what she told the truth? This Weibo post from Gu Yueza instantly shifted the direction of public opinion. Yi Wanwan's public announcement of a relationship turned into what looked like a couple's bantering and her throwing a tantrum at Gu Yueza. As for Xi Yihan, a figure who solely belonged to legends, they didn't dare to imagine it at all. Chapter 1817 Boss hasn't spoken yet. Several days later, evidence of Huang Mingkuan and Liang Meixian being the murderers was found and the duo was forced to confess and admit their guilt. Under the enormous pressure of public opinion, Yi Hongwei and the board immediately relieved Yi of her position, and Yi Mufan officially took over Emperor Sky Entertainment. After learning the truth, Yi Hongwei became seriously ill, and Tanilan accompanied him at the hospital and took care of him the whole time. As soon as they thought about how their youngest son actually died at the hands of their most favored daughter-in-law and most trusted steward and how their most beloved granddaughter wasn't related to the Yi family by blood, the duo was immersed in painful regret and washed their faces with tears all day long. When they recalled the eldest branch's good qualities, it was too late. Their past actions already caused them to become emotionally distant from the eldest branch, and they couldn't return to the past anymore. Regardless of how Yi Hongwei and Tanilan treated Yi Wanwan and her family, they were their seniors, so Yi Wanwan and her family couldn't abandon them. Hence, after Yi Wanwan discussed it with her father and brother, they made proper arrangements for the two elders and merely didn't permit the two elders to interfere with the company's affairs. As for Liang Meixian and Huang Mingkuan, they kept searching everywhere for connections to lessen their sentences. Unfortunately, the wheel of fortune had turned on them, and everyone couldn't be more eager to avoid them. This included Liang Jiahao and his family, who previously curried favor with Liang Meixian like she was his real sister. Now, they frantically hid from the duo like the duo was an epidemic. How could they have expected the princess they always buttered up to be a bastard? Instead, it was that uneducated wench, Yi Wanwan, who became the owner of Stars Corporation, someone they couldn't hope to touch. The chairman of Stars Corporation was his niece. If he didn't listen to his wife and treated his sister, Liang Wanjun, so terribly, he wouldn't have to worry for the rest of his life, relying on this level of relationship alone. Now though, it would be useless even if he drowned in regret. At Stars Entertainment's reception parlor, Gu Group's vice president, Chiu Liquan, sat in his spot with a big grin. Director Zhou, have you finished reading it? Zhou Tao read the proposal that Chiu Liquan handed to him and carefully deliberated his following words before speaking. If I remember correctly, your company submitted this project proposal last month already, but regrettably, your company doesn't satisfy our needs. Chiu Liquan chuckled and said with a meaningful expression. We didn't suit your needs last month, but it doesn't mean we can't meet them this month. This chapter is scrapped from Riyadh Light Novel. Gu Yueza and Yi Wanwan's gossip dominated the news this month. With this layer of relationship present, their supposed desires weren't important anymore. Zhou Tao naturally caught Chiu Liquan's hint and hummed. The boss hasn't spoken yet, so I wouldn't dare to decide without approval. Chiu Liquan snorted. Ha, Director Zhou, you truly don't know how to be flexible. The couple is just having a minor argument, but you're holding up this project. When the couple makes up in the future, wouldn't you be making things difficult for yourself, stuck in the middle? Zhou Tao's eyes shifted. This Chiu guy wasn't wrong. However, what was tricky right now was that Big Boss's affairs, especially her private affairs, couldn't be questioned by a person on his level. He didn't dare to lightly make a decision without getting a good sense of the Big Boss's wishes. Zhou Tao mulled it over before deciding to neither accept nor decline. He would drag it out first and observe the situation. Hence, Zhou Tao chuckled and said, I'm just an employee, so I'm only doing things according to the rules. How about this, Vice President Chiu, leave the information here, and I'll help you ask again. Chiu Liquan looked confident, traces of triumph leaking through. Thanks for the trouble. After saying that, the man left haughtily. Chapter 1818. Cold derision flickered through Zhou Tao's face as he watched Chiu Liquan leaving. Who did he think he was? Chiu Liquan was just a petty vice president of a lousy company and he dared to imperiously threaten him? If Zhou Tao didn't take Big Boss's face into consideration, he wouldn't have met with this man after he came running here without making an appointment. The Big Boss hadn't even admitted her relationship with Gu Yueza yet and he dared to posture himself as the husband? Zhou Tao seriously hoped Big Boss didn't take a liking to someone like Gu Yueza as the rumors claimed. That day, at Stars Corporation's headquarters, Yi Wanwan had a meeting with the higher-ups. Yi Wanwan originally didn't want to interfere with Stars since it was Second Elder's asset, but Second Elder kept calling her several times a day, insisting her to go to the headquarters. She didn't have to do anything and just had to show her face, as though Second Elder would gain a lot of pride simply from her visit. Yi Wanwan had no choice but to go to Star's headquarters and hold a meeting. Everything at the meeting proceeded as normal, but the branch directors wore strange expressions on their faces and looked at her like they wanted to say something. Speak your minds frankly, Yi Wanwan said. Ahem, in the end, Director Zhou, the one who received her initially, considered his words for a moment before asking, Boss, the Gu Group has been frequently contacting us with an intent to collaborate with us. What are your thoughts on this, boss? The gossip had truly evolved to all sorts of versions recently, so they didn't know who to believe anymore. Didn't I publicly talk about this a few days ago? Do I need to make another announcement? Yi Wanwan answered. The directors below all looked at each other blankly. Was their boss's boyfriend really that person from the C family? Although Yi Wanwan gave her answer, the people seated still weren't certain since romantic matters weren't clear-cut. The boss might be their boss, but she was also a woman. Who knew whether she really wasn't acting rashly out of spite, as Gu Yueza said. Hence, they should sit back and observe a little longer. They would first hold the Gu family at bay first, or else they would end up in a ditch after offending Gu Yueza if he really turned around and became their boss's husband. Yu Wanwan didn't pay attention to their thoughts and was absent-mindedly pondering over something unknown. When the meeting finally ended, Yu Wanwan made a trip to the Age of Immortals. The second she arrived at the company, Gong Su hastily slammed into her, saying he possessed new information related to Gu Yueza. What news? Yu Wanwan asked. Gong Su quickly replied, Brother Yi, I heard Gu Yueza has been secretly contacting some wedding companies these past few days. I also heard he met with the owner of Victory Hotel. Also, I heard he recently ordered a super expensive diamond ring from CL recently. Yu Wanwan clapped Gong Su on the shoulder and solemnly said, Baby Su, you can switch careers and become a member of the paparazzi. Really, it's a waste of your talents for you to be an artist. Gong Su became joyous upon hearing that. Of course. I'm talented all around. You seriously got a bargain signing me on, Brother Yi. Wait, no, don't go off topic, Brother Yi. Compliment me later, I'm talking official business with you. I'm telling you, that's not all. That fool, Gu Yueza, also secretly contacted all the well-known reporters in the industry and invited them to go to Victory Grand Hotel tomorrow night at 8. Yu Wanwan was exasperated. Just what are you trying to say? Gong Su revealed emotionally, isn't all of this obvious enough, my brother Yi? Every sign indicates that Gu Yueza has been plotting for a long time and wants to publicly propose to you tomorrow at 8 p.m. Chapter 1819. As Gong Su torrentially unloaded his hypothesis onto Yu Wanwan, Lin Kei was saying nearly the same thing at a certain manor in Imperial City. Lin Kei said, Ninth brother, based on everything I said, Gu Yueza, that idiot, is probably preparing to propose to Ninth sister. How can you tolerate this? If he could tolerate even this, wouldn't it be a bit illogical? Siyihan, Yu Wanwan frowned. Propose to me. What the heck? Just as Gong Su finished telling her the gossip, Yu Wanwan's phone started ringing, and the caller was coincidentally Gu Yueza. Brother Yi, answer it, answer it. Gong Su urged anxiously, his face almost plastered to her phone screen. Yu Wanwan pressed the answer button and carelessly held it up. Hello. Gu Yueza seemed to be pleased by Yu Wanwan picking up the phone. With a gentle but also self-assured tone, he said, Wanwan, meet me at Victory Grand Hotel tomorrow night at 8. I have something important to tell you. Gong Su immediately mouthed, See. I was right. Before Yu Wanwan could respond, Gu Yueza interrupted her and continued, Don't reject me, Wanwan. Believe me, I know what you want and I can afford it. Then Gu Yueza hung up, brimming with confidence. Yu Wanwan mockingly glanced at her phone. Ha, you know what I want. Gu Yueza probably thought she wanted him to marry her openly. This would be correct if she was the previous Yu Wanwan. If Gu Yueza was willing to bestow her with such a grand proposal, she would have probably fainted from happiness. Hence, Gu Yueza matter-of-factly thought he had an accurately grasp of Yu Wanwan's mind, so he employed this ultimate finishing move on her. Brother Yi, are you going? Gong Su asked with a blink. Yu Wanwan looked at him cheerfully. Do you think I'm that free? Randomly taking him out for a walk was fine, but she didn't have time to keep playing with him. Don't, Brother Yi. You're not free, but I'm free. Let's go and have some fun. How satisfying would it be to publicly reject that idiotic jerk and slap his face? Gong Su enthusiastically suggested. Yu Wanwan glimpsed at him dryly. It's satisfying to slap the face of someone like him. She wasn't interested in doing something so easy. Fine, it'd be kinda boring, Gong Su pursed his lips in disappointment. Stop thinking about having fun all day long. let's get down to business. She still had other important things to do during her trip in China, so she didn't have time to waste on these petty matters. Soon, she would have to return to the independent state, so she had no time to lose and had to swiftly take care of her business here. Yi Wanwan ignored Gong Su and entered Fei Yang's office. Brother Yang, have you finished preparing for the press conference? Many things had happened recently: the switching up of Emperor Sky Entertainment's management, the redistribution of the Age of Immortals, and Stars Entertainment's upcoming plans and collaborations. They needed to hold a press conference to officially announce it. Fei Yang looked up from his computer. It's all done. I've reserved the Gold Hall at Yunfan Conference Center, and I'm currently drawing up the guest list. Great. Thank you for your hard work. After drawing up the guest list, Fei Yang immediately invited all the major media outlets and reporters to their press conference. Meanwhile, Yi Wanwan sought out Yi Mufan to discuss the general outline of the press conference. Chapter 1820. At the Gu Group, Chiu Liquan, the vice president, cheerfully said, "What a clever move, CEO Gu. At that time, you'll create a giant surprise and stage a magnificent proposal that will stir the whole city. There won't be a single woman who can resist it." Gu Yueza leaned back on the sofa and sipped on his glass of red wine with a smirk. I know Yi Wanwan too well. In the end, she's just a woman. The reason she's playing hard to get and is mad at me is merely because she wants an official status. Brilliant, CEO Gu. There's no way that girl will escape from your clutches, CEO Gu. Chiu Liquan fawningly piled praise on Gu Yueza. Oh right, I went to Stars Entertainment to meet with their director Zhou. That director Zhou has always acted haughty but had to treat me politely this time. Gu Group chuckled. When I marry Yi Wanwan, the whole Stars Corporation will belong to the Gu Group, let alone Stars Entertainment. How could he dare to treat you with anything but politeness? Chiu Liquan burst into laughter. You're right, CEO Gu. At that moment, knocks were heard on the office door, and a junior assistant entered. CEO Gu, the junior assistant looked hesitant to speak. What is it? Gu Yueza asked. It's Miss Yi. She wants to see you, the junior assistant reported. Gu Yueza's eyes brightened before promptly dimming. Miss Yi. Yi. Yes. She's been waiting outside for a long time and won't leave no matter what I say, the assistant answered, troubled. Then have her keep waiting, Gu Yueza indifferently said and resumed his conversation with Chiu Liquan. The junior assistant had no choice but to exit. She quickly returned to the reception area of the Gu Group and coldly said to Yi, please leave, Miss Yi. CEO Yi really isn't available. Yi immediately slapped her. Bitch, you're just an assistant. How dare you speak to me like this? It was me who arranged for your position at Gu Group back then. How dare you block me? The junior assistant's face became swollen at once. Grievance overwhelmed her, and she indignantly yelled, who do you think you are, Yi? Do you still think you're the future young madam of the Gu Group? You're just hogwash that CEO Gu doesn't want anymore. Where did you get the guts to act mighty in front of me? What did you say? How dare you? Yi flung another slap at her. The junior assistant didn't cower and rolled into a scuffle with her. What? Am I wrong? You're in the wrong here. Our CEO Gu is going to propose to the owner of Stars Corporation, Miss Yi Wanwan, tomorrow. Who do you think you are? Bitch. You're lying to me. Yi was startled, disbelief filling her face. I'm lying. Go read the news yourself. The entire Imperial City knows about this. The quarrel finally ended when security arrived to pull the duo apart and toss Yi out of the building. In front of the Gu Group's building, Yi's expression was immensely dark. Her hair was messy as a rat's nest, and tears from the tussle littered her clothes. Gu Yueza is going to propose to that little bitch, Yi Wanwan. Impossible. How could that be possible? This piece of news completely shattered her last bit of hope. Gu Yueza. Yi Wanwan. You want to kick me away and get together? No, absolutely no way. I absolutely won't allow you to be together. The next morning, Yi Wanwan's press conference at the Gold Hall of Yunfan Conference Center officially began. The management of Emperor Sky Entertainment, The Age of Immortals, and Stars Entertainment all attended. Chapter 1821. Since everything was arranged ahead of time and an incredibly eager second elder had sent people to make proper preparations, Yi Wanwan merely had to sit there and hold down the fort. The press conference went extremely smoothly. Yi Wanwan rubbed her neck, which was aching from sitting too long. Seeing that the business with the company was almost done, she was prepared to toss responsibility to Yi Mufan shortly and swiftly finish her mission from the academy so that she could accumulate enough honor points as soon as possible. Brother Yi, do your shoulders hurt? I'll help you massage them. I'm really good at massages. Fu Mingxi was steps away from her, as he'd been the past few days. No need. After the press conference ended, Yi Wanwan walked at the front with a parade of senior managers from the three companies along with reporters who hastily followed them, wanting to ask some questions, and they ceremoniously left the hall. Kachak. The servers pushed open the two golden doors of the hall. Yi Wanwan had her head lowered as she conversed with Fu Mingxi while walking forward. The second the doors opened, though, an abrupt loud bang rang and a rain of flower petals showered down from above followed by numerous colorful balloons floating up. Yi Wanwan looked up with a frown. The originally solemn Yunfan Conference Center had turned into a sea of flowers. Expensive imported red roses formed a carpet that stretched from the gold hall to the center of the building. Standing at the center stage was Gu Yueza dressed in a wine red, expensive, high-class, custom-made suit while holding a bouquet of flowers as he looked at her lovingly. Upon seeing this scene, Yi Wanwan's mind blanked. Everyone behind her who saw this unexpected scene was also dumbstruck. What was going on? They all quickly reacted. Damn! Mr. Gu is planning to propose? Explosive. This is too explosive. Isn't this surprise too heart-jolting? After a wave of shocked exclamations, everyone noticed the heart-shaped crystal platform at the center was actually layered with crystals from S Company. This platform alone probably cost millions of dollars. If someone stepped on it, they had to tread cautiously in fear of breaking it. Not to even mention the myriad of romantic decorations that stretched across the venue. An enormous sum of money was spent on everything. The reporters who came to attend a business press conference all became excited. They never would have expected to accidentally gain such a big scoop from the press conference. Gu Yueza was about to publicly propose to Yi Wanwan. Wow! This is too romantic. How could it not be romantic? It's built on towers of money. Which woman could reject this kind of proposal? I seriously envy Yi Wanwan too much. It appears Yi Wanwan will get what she wanted. Amidst the reporters' sea of envious gasps and exclamations, everyone waited for the female lead's reaction. Fu Mingxi fumed at this scene before him and immediately hurled insults. What a cheap proposal. Is he nouveau riche? President, if you like surprises or a romantic proposal, I can give you one 100 times grander. Don't be deceived by such a tacky proposal. Big Dipper pushed him to the side. Shoo! Does our president look like someone this ignorant? Yi Wanwan, she was more ignorant than this in the past. She would dry up a mere flower that Gu Yueza gifted to her and turn it into a bookmark and securely store it in her safe. Chapter 1822 haven't become muddled to the point of being blind. 7-star remained calm and silent from start to end. Yi Mufan, however, was burning with hatred. How dare this damn toad lust after a swan? Who gave him the courage to propose to my sister? Wanwan, don't be foolhardy and impulsively agree to him. Yi Wanwan's expression darkened. How foolhardy would I have to be? Yi Mufan grumbled. Don't be so blasé, Wanwan. It's really easy for women to become dizzy and muddled in this kind of situation. I haven't become muddled to the point of being blind. No matter how Yi Mufan knew his sister had her own opinion and absolutely wouldn't accept Gu Yueza's proposal, he still couldn't help but worry. He couldn't be blamed for overthinking things as Wanwan's boyfriend hadn't appeared since she returned to the country, nor had Si Yihan made an appearance and responded, so he couldn't help but feel worried about his sister's romantic situation. He didn't dare to believe his brother-in-law was truly Si Yihan either. Of course, taking in mind his sister's temper, he didn't dare to voice his question. The reporters all held their breaths in anticipation, and wave after wave of kachak and camera flashes enveloped the venue. All the reporters fervently snapped photos of Yi Wanwan's face, wanting to capture pleasant surprise, touched emotion, and even the female lead breaking down into tears. After waiting for so long and finally obtaining what she wanted, she had to be very excited, right? In truth, Yi Wanwan was rather irritated. She didn't expect Gu Yueza to block her all the way in Gold Hall to give her a so-called surprise, giving her no path of escape. She felt like a pile of shit was forcefully stuffed into her mouth. Gu Yueza looked at the girl on the other end of the red carpet. Yi Wanwan was wearing a black, clean and handsome form-fitting suit today. Although it looked very good on her, he thought she should have at least worn a more festively colored dress for an occasion like today. Thankfully, it didn't matter since the girl possessed skin whiter than snow and stunning looks, so her outfit highlighted another unique type of beauty. Under everyone's eyes, Yi Wanwan stepped onto the red carpet of roses and prepared to leave without a wandering glance. However, to Gu Yueza, Yi Wanwan's calm expression merely looked like she was dumbfounded with joy. Gu Yueza stared at the girl with deep adoration and gently said, "Wanwan, I know you've waited for this moment for a long time. I'm sorry for going in circles and making you wait for me for so long. Time has made me realize that the person who loves me the most and feels the deepest affection toward me has always been by my side." On the crystal stage, Gu Yueza accepted a black velvet box from a staff member and opened the lid, revealing a ring crowned with a diamond the size of a pigeon egg. "Wanwan, marry me. Marry me." These words echoed in the convention center's lobby, eliciting a string of ear-shattering cheers. "Marry him. Marry him. My God. I'm so envious." Yi Wanwan seriously blessed. In the midst of everyone's cajoling, a woman's acidic curse was heard, "Yi Wanwan, you're a mistress." All the reporters bewilderedly turned to the source of the voice and saw that the newcomer was actually Gu Yueza's ex-fiancé and the previous director of the talent recruitment department at Emperor Sky Entertainment, Yi. "Wow. This is gonna be good. It's Yi. Yi actually came. We're gonna see two women fighting over a man." Chapter 1823. A burst of desperate madness was evident in Yi Yi's eyes as she staked everything in one throw and crazily pounced on Yi Wanwan. However, before she could get within 3 steps of Yi Wanwan, she was stopped by 7 Star. Before anyone realized, a cold youth appeared in front of Yi Wanwan. 7 Star didn't even make contact with Yi Yi, but the woman staggered onto the floor and started sobbing, tears streaking down her face and shoulders trembling. "Wanwan, why did you do this to me? I know my parents made a mistake, but what does it have to do with me? I didn't know. I didn't know anything. I have nothing now. I don't have Yueza, so why do you have to steal Yueza away too? Hey, what nonsense are you spouting? When did Brother Yi steal your man?" Big Dipper irritably snapped. However, Big Dipper's menacing and brutish manner merely complimented Yi Yi and made her look more pitiful and fragile. She scrambled backwards in a panic and her jacket and collar seemed to accidentally slip down, revealing bruises spotting her skin. "Wanwan, although you did have an engagement with Yueza at first, I didn't get together with Yueza until you broke up with him. There wasn't anything improper about how Yueza and I got together, so I didn't do anything wrong by you. Now though, Yueza and I were about to get married, but you're using your power to bully me and insert yourself between us. Afterward, you even hired thugs to frighten me and force me to break off my engagement with Yueza. Wanwan, even if I'm not related by blood to the Yi family, we've been sisters for so many years. How could you treat me like this? Yi was choking with sobs at this point. I've already lost everything, so why must you steal away the last thing I have too? As the reporters listened to Yi's words and saw her miserable and tragic state, a commotion ran through them, and they couldn't help but feel sympathetic. Damn! I didn't expect Yi Wanwan to be so vicious. Yi's already in this state, but Yi Wanwan still isn't sparing Yi. In order to get married to Gu Yueza, she actually hired thugs to force Yi to break off the engagement. No matter what Yi did, she did have an engagement with Gu Yueza. So Yi Wanwan is the mistress for butting into their relationship at this moment. TSK, this woman methodically plotted to send Yi's parents to prison, then forced her to break her engagement and stole her man. This woman is seriously terrifying. Listening to the surrounding discussion, Yi's cries became more heartbreaking. Wanwan, I'm begging you. I'm begging you. I don't want anything, please just return Yueza to me. A cold glint flickered through Yi's eyes as she said that. Yi Wanwan, you won't let me live well, so I will make your life hell too. This way, even if you do win Gu Yueza, you'll be scorned by everyone and will forever be labeled as the mistress and suffer from the world's insults. Yi Wanwan crossed her arms in front of her chest and coldly watched Yi taking on the role of both the director and actress for this scene and acted like she was the world's most innocent and pitiful flower. Gu Yueza might be angry at Yi for disrupting his proposal, but two women fighting over his affections did satisfy his vanity and pride. Especially when he heard Yi saying Yi Wanwan hired thugs to force her to break off the engagement. Woman. They really say one thing but mean another. Gu Yueza sighed and said, pretentiously acting like a gentleman, don't talk about Wanwan like this. No matter what she did, I'll apologize on her behalf. If you want to blame someone, blame me. Chapter 1824. It would be better if Gu Yueza didn't say that. By saying that, his words equated to admitting to everything Yi said. Yi seemed to have suffered an enormous blow at witnessing Gu Yueza speaking up for Yi Wanwan. She stood up shakily, as though she'd faint at any second. Wanwan, you've doggedly pursued Yueza ever since I got with him and didn't give up. I tolerated everything you did, seeing as we were sisters, and I really didn't want to do this, but I didn't expect you to act so tyrannically. You pretended to be the victim, you purposefully played hard to get, you hired thugs to injure me and force me, and you even used Si Yihan to provoke Yueza, but aren't you merely doing everything to win over Yueza and obtain the status of Mrs. Gu? Are you satisfied now? Yi tearfully accused Yi Wanwan of shamelessness, causing the reporters' gazes toward Yi Wanwan to turn odder and odder. Although Yi deserves to be punished, Yi Wanwan isn't anything good either. Right? She's seriously too manipulative and even intentionally made herself look good and claim Si Yihan was her boyfriend, but in the end, it was just a plot to force Gu Yueza to marry her. The most poisonous heart truly belongs to a woman. As Big Dipper helplessly watched Yi acting pitiful and caused everyone to insult Yi Wanwan, his fury erupted. Damn! Aren't you Chinese women too shameless? Just openly fight it out whenever you have any grievances. What kind of solution is this? Yi Wanwan ignored Big Dipper. This industry was like this, he was merely seeing the tip of the iceberg. Miss Yi Wanwan, may I ask if Yi told the truth? Did you really privately hire thugs to threaten her? Doesn't your conscience feel uneasy by using such unscrupulous methods to get the position of Mrs. Gu? Can you really accept this grand proposal today with an easy conscience? Interrogation from reporters instantly slammed Yi Wanwan. Everyone, please calm down. All of this is just a one-sided statement from Yi, and everyone knows our chairman Yi already clarified her relationship with Mr. Gu Yueza earlier. Zhou Tao hastily stepped forward to resolve this soap opera, but unfortunately, the public typically sympathized with the weak, so none of the reporters believed Zhou Tao and they all sided with Yi Yi. In the midst of this chaos, a reporter suddenly shouted, "What did you say? Si Yihan? Si Yihan? What about Si Yihan?" Si Yihan's name was like a drop of oil in a pot of boiling water and instantly attracted everyone's attention. "I heard the president of the C Corporation, Si Yihan, returned from overseas today and is coming here to inspect this place." Huh? Seriously? Yunfan Conference Center, the most luxurious convention center in Imperial City, was under the management of C Corporation, so it wasn't strange for Si Yihan to show up there. However, wasn't Si Yihan's itinerary always kept tightly confidential with the surroundings under lockdown, prohibiting the appearance of a single reporter? It's not true, right? If Si Yihan was coming, this place would have probably been cleared and locked down already. I heard it was because of Gu Yue's sudden show, so by the time the center's manager informed them, Si Yihan had arrived already. If you don't believe me, go take a look for yourself. All the senior managers of C Corporation and this convention center's boss are at the entrance to receive him. Wow! This trip today was simply too worth it. All the reporters bubbled with excitement. Chapter 1825, Wait. If Si Yihan is here, wouldn't that be comical? Wasn't Yi Wanwan pretending that Si Yihan was her boyfriend a few days ago? Won't she get her face publicly slapped now? PFT. Oh yeah. The matters turned into such a big fuss, so Si Yihan must have heard about. Yi Wanwan seriously brazen to dare to pretend to be Si Yihan's girlfriend. Si Yihan, Yi Wanwan unwittingly narrowed her eyes upon hearing that name. The reporters all rushed toward the lobby's entrance only to be met by a group of bodyguards in black flooding toward them and barricading the reporters at a distance. After that, a group of C Corporation's senior managers smartly dressed in suits and leather shoes followed along with the sweating and panting president of the conference center. This procession caused the boisterous reporters to all reflexively quiet down, not daring to utter a sound, and everyone propped up their cameras, aiming them toward the main entrance. About 10 seconds later, all the senior managers were standing at the main entrance properly, ready to receive a guest, and a black car slowly stopped. The car's back door opened, revealing a strong but long and slender leg. Then a man dressed in a black suit fully stepped out of the car. SSS. A wave of gasps simultaneously reverberated through the center when everyone clearly saw the man. The man's aura was seriously too powerful. The second he appeared, the enormous center turned oppressive. When the reporters cautiously examined the man's looks, they were stunned once more. They never would have expected Si Yihan to actually be so handsome. My God! Si Yihan's too handsome, right? I'm announcing that I have a new husband from this moment onward. Who was it that foolishly claimed Si Yihan didn't dare to show himself because he was too ugly? It's obviously because he's too handsome and would evoke havoc by revealing himself. Ah! I actually saw Si Yihan with my own eyes. I don't have any regrets in my career as a reporter anymore. Yi Wanwan's gaze navigated through the tightly packed crowd and landed on the man in the middle. Aside from returning his hair to black, the man shared nearly zero differences from Lord Azura. However, she felt like she hadn't seen him for several centuries. The man who gave her the best time of her life but also the crudest treatment. Gu Yue's red rose carpet was layered from the gold hall all the way to the center's main entrance, so it would be unavoidable for Si Yihan to step on it if he wanted to enter. The sight of this slim figure walking across a bed of fresh red rose petals with icy looks that appeared to be carved by the gods themselves, it was unworldly. When the man was halfway across the carpet, the reporters finally snapped out of this beautiful feast. A bold reporter dashed out from the crowd and snatched this once-in-a-lifetime chance for an interview. Hello, Mr. C. May I ask if you've seen Miss Yi Wanwan's interview a few days ago when she claimed you were her boyfriend? What are your thoughts on this? Wow! Such an explosive question from the very start. The other reporters all sighed and wrung their hands at seeing this reporter outdoing them, but also pointed their cameras towards Si Yihan, waiting for his answer. The man halted his steps. Every reporter held their breath subconsciously. At a lack of response from Si Yihan, the inquiring reporter looked a bit frightened and stammered, Yi Wanwan is the founder of the Age of Immortals, and the B-boss of Stars Corporation. Have you heard of her? Chapter 1826. The reporter was probably afraid that Si Yihan didn't know this person, so she tacked on an explanation. After all, rumors said Si Yihan had been overseas during this period of time. In such a romantic setting, the reporter could visibly detect an extremely displeased frostiness from Si Yihan. So, she thought she had disturbed and irritated the man and didn't hope for Si Yihan to respond, so she started retreating and wanting to flee. To the reporter's surprise, she heard the man coldly answer, I've heard. He's heard. However, it wasn't that strange, since Stars Corporation not only had the most famous Stars Entertainment under its banner but was also involved in many other industries. Could it be because they had some business interactions? The reporter was incredibly pleasantly surprised Si Yihan answered her. She naturally didn't want to give this chance up and bolstered her courage to continue with her questions. Then President Si, may I presumptuously ask if you know Chairman Yi? What relationship do you two have? Do you have business interactions? The reporter was obviously trying to trick words out of Si Yihan. As long as Si Yihan said he didn't know her or wasn't familiar with her, things would get interesting. Silence descended around them again. Many people turned to Yi Wanwan, waiting for a good show. Yi Wanwan was seriously unlucky. Who would have expected Si Yihan, who appeared once in a blue moon, to coincidentally visit this place? Now, her lie would be exposed. Yi smirked in elation. Yi Wanwan had finally miscalculated. Did she think her lie wouldn't be exposed simply because Si Yihan never made public appearances? Let's see how she'd continue in this industry from now on. Si Yihan didn't answer the reporter's question and seemed to be pondering over something, his mind drifting away. However, no one uttered a sound and everyone held their breaths in anticipation. About 10 seconds later, the man returned to the present and suddenly walked past the reporter. Everyone trailed after him. Si Yihan headed straight toward Yi Wanwan. Damn! What? What's going on? Is Si Yihan about to make Yi Wanwan pay? Yi Wanwan's eyes were placid as a pool of dead water, and she ignored everyone's zealous gazes and calmly watched the man slowly walking toward her. Finally, the man stopped before her. They were both dressed in black and created an inexplicable sense of harmony as they stood in front of each other, face to face. What's his relationship with her? In front of everyone, the man in black slowly leaned down and planted a light kiss on the girl's lips. The man's slightly raspy voice, which was as low as a cello, rang out next to everyone's ears. My girlfriend. Girlfriend. Every reporter's face turned blank as they watched the scene in front of them, clueless as to the right expression to have. Time seemed to have frozen and everyone stood unmoving without a sound. It wasn't until the man pulled back from the kiss that a commotion shot through the place, a fervent uproar nearly piercing through the roof. Damn! What what did I just hear? Was I hearing things? No. You didn't. I also heard it. Si Yihan said Yi Wanwan is his girlfriend. My god. Si Yihan is actually Yi Wanwan's boyfriend. This is a shocking scoop. Of course he knows her. How could he not? She's his girlfriend. The person who asked this question must have been an idiot. Everyone thought Yi Wanwan was simply trying to aggravate Gu Yueza and didn't expect her boyfriend to really be Si Yihan. Doesn't that mean? Everything that Gu Yueza did, posting on Weibo, inviting reporters, proposing to Yi Wanwan, it was all delusional, wishful thinking? Yi is more hilarious, right? She was just claiming Yi Wanwan hired thugs to threaten her and force her to break her engagement with Gu Yueza. Her acting was seriously realistic. You're tuning into the Blissful Bookshelf YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.